Hello and welcome to Spurs Kings TV. It is Marlon and it's Friday and I have done a one-off show. Look, what I want tonight to be, I want to call it a therapy session. Look, there's a lot of Spurs fans out there right now that are feeling it. We're going through a bit of a rut, and this is our time to come together, have our say, and get through it together. You know how it goes. And look, the link is in the chat, so if anybody wants to come on, come and join me. You get a 10 minute. We'll talk 10 minutes how we think we can fix this, what's going wrong, what can we do next, how you feel about Ange, how you feel about Levy. It's just your say. Come on and have your say when you want. Anyway, look, as I say, thanks to everyone who's here, everyone who's joined me so far. But first of all, let's break it down. Like, obviously, we've been 24 hours since the Liverpool beating. Yep, it was a beating. It wasn't pretty. But I think a lot of fans felt frustrated with the players. I think a lot of fans feel frustrated at the club. I think a lot of fans feel frustrated with everything that's going on right now. And we've got Villa Sunday, and everyone feels disjointed at the moment. So let's get going, right? So let's quickly talk about the European squad was announced today. If anyone hasn't seen, and as you can tell, the three players that have gone in as the three new players is Tell, our new signing, Danso, and Fraser Foster. Matthias Tell, Danso have gone in, and so has Spence. Spence has now got his place, and the three players to come out are Fraser Foster, Timo Werner, and Drake Sheen. That means there's no place for Kingsley at the moment at all. No place for him because we can only name three, so they've gone with Jed Spence this time. I had my views on Tuesday about that, what I think should be happening, but it means that Vicario is obviously going to get Europe. It'd be very interesting to see who's going to get the Premier League, which I might ask some of the guests when they come on. Anyway, let's get started. I'll start off. I can see a couple of people in the background already. So what I'm going to do is Eugene was here first, so I'm going to bring out Eugene with me. Eugene, are you well?
Hey Marlon, I'm all right. How about yourself?
I am
Good to talk to
very,
you.
very good. Very, very good. Look, let's talk about Spurs. What is going wrong? How do you see things at the moment? What do you feel like's going wrong at Spurs at the moment?
You know what? Usually, I come on and I say, "Oh, it's this or that." Now, it is
Yeah.
so big. There's so many issues that it's very hard to say, "Oh, it's this one thing." Right? I'd be very happy if we were like, let's say, like Arsenal, saying if we sack our manager,
Yeah.
then we'll be good. Just looking at the game last night, it's embarrassing. Like I expected a loss, but the way we lost, the way our senior players once again were scared and didn't step up, like to me, it's just top to bottom, just there's an issue. And there's
So if
not
you
one thing
yeah.
you can point to in my mind.
So if you were looking at the club situation right now, what would be the first thing you'd try and fix? If you're like you've got everything is in your control, what would be the first thing you'd fix right now at the club?
I mean, honestly, what needs to be fixed is not fixable, it's the board. Like,
Okay,
as
yeah,
I've been saying, I've been watching sports, all kinds of sports for like 40 plus years. Every team that's ever won had and had a board or an owner or a general manager who's ambitious and who demands excellence, top to bottom, right? Excellence in the scouting team, excellence in the medical team, on the pitch, right? So everything go is top down, and until our ownership either changes or demands excellence, top to bottom, nothing is going to change. We'll just have the mediocre medical team recruitment and players. So that's the only way things can change. But obviously, you know, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately.
So if you were looking at let's take the ball for a second. Why are they not showing the ambition the fans want them to show? Why are we getting it? Why are we in this situation right now that we're going? Actually, it's the top that needs to change and not the bottom.
I mean, it's a business, right? I mean, unless a team is owned by a state or by a billionaire like Abramovich in the past who didn't care about money, he just wanted to win. Now, if it's a business, um, the ownership would treat the club like a business. So they're using Levy is using the club to build real estate and to change Tottenham to build hotels and real estate and eventually get the NFL in the concerts. I think that's the big goal because NFL, that's where the money's at. So a team is just the means to achieving financial success, which he's done. But unfortunately, the soul of the club is gone. Again, I'm in the States, but talking in my group chats to people who go to the games,
Yeah,
the stadium is not like I'm going to be in London in April with my son to go see our first Spurs game. And when he's going to go, he's not going to see any statues. He's not going to see anything. The Bill Nicholson gates that were promised, it's
yeah.
not there. It's just a stadium for NFL and events, which is unfortunate. So football is just a means of achieving other things that the ownership wants to achieve, unfortunately. And like if you look at the wages to revenue ratio, all that stuff that we talked about,
Yeah.
for a club with our financial power, I mean it's embarrassing what we spend on player wages and just investment in the club as a whole. So it's a shame.
So do you think if we say we did get someone else coming in and it changed the culture of the club, do you think right now that they could change most things, or do you think there'd be okay? Let's go on to the manager. Let's go to the manager now. Do you think Ange is the right fit for Tottenham Hotspur right now? And are you very surprised that he is still here, considering how we've dealt with managers in the past?
I mean, I've been engine until recently. Now that I
What
don't
changed your
care.
mind? Come on, what changed your mind? Come on, what
um
recently? Because I was the same.
what changed my mind is,
Yeah,
so there are many things. First of all, I do blame Ange for squad management and for some of the injuries. So, regardless of tactics, the way he managed the Europa squad, not including Spence and Reguilon, even like
yeah,
the injuries, everything else, a lot of it, obviously, some is bad luck. A lot of it is on Ange and the way he trains. So I mean, that's a big one. Secondly, when Ange came on board, I was hoping, like, what, this manager is unorthodox. Let's see if the ownership backs him. And this is like for me, last chance to be like, what? I just want to be all in on the project. Obviously, as we see with transfers, that's not going to happen. So if that's not going to happen, if he's not going to get players that he needs for his whatever his system is to work, plus given his tactical naivety at times, I just don't think he's the manager for the future for us. I don't think he can take us right. He might set the building blocks if
yeah.
he's back, but he's not the manager to take us over the top. And that's clear given, again, his squad management, the injuries, and his in game management. For me, those are the big issues. So even though I like him as a person, I like that he wants to be a part of the club. I like what he's trying to achieve in theory. He just, for us, it's not going to work, unfortunately. But that goes for any other manager as well. And that's why, I get into arguments when fans put everything on the Ange. I'm like, hey guys, look what's been happening for the past decade post Podge, right? It's not all on the manager. Yes, he has his issues, but it's a bigger problem than a manager. Sacking a manager, for me, we're still left with the same players. We're still left with the recruiting team who brings in those players. We're
So,
left with the medical team. It's just, for
do you
me,
think? So do you think? Do you know on a level? Let's like Spurs are what 14th at the moment. We crashed out of the League Cup, considering how well we played against Manchester City and Man United. But do you think there'd be a manager out there that could get slightly better than what Ange is getting out of the players right now? Or are you on a completely different level and going, no, it is the players. It's not. It's just everything else around it and the whole scenario with Tottenham Hotspur.
look, it depends what you mean by slightly better. Like, should we, even with all the injuries, should we be 15th? No. But another manager would what? Get us to 10th, to 8th? Like for me, I either want to challenge consistently, even if we don't win, I want to be in the mix. And if
Yeah.
we don't, it doesn't matter. Like I don't want to be, finish fourth. We get to Champions League, we get battered by the big boys. We don't bring any players in. who fit a Champions League team, and then
Yeah.
we're going to be eighth again. So for me, a different manager short term for this season, maybe he could get be, more solid defensively, get better results, but it's not going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things. We're going to be 10th and not 15th. And so what? For me,
Yeah,
it
the only reason
doesn't
why I
matter.
asked the question, yeah, the reason why I asked that question is because even though this board has been here how many years, but we've even Jose and technically Conte were getting better results than what, and that was with the same board. So that's why I'm asking the question of actually, do you think there is managers out there that could possibly be getting better results? Because
But
I,
you know what, Marlon? Oh, sorry
pardon?
to interrupt. Like if we look at Jose and Conte, yes, the
Yeah,
results were different, but and if I'm wrong, jump in. But looking
yeah,
at the teams around us during Conte's time and Jose's time, and look at the teams right now,
yeah,
Newcastle is Villa much better, even Chelsea is much better. They were in the mud for a couple of years, so I think unlike those times, all the
yeah.
teams around us have money, the recruitment improved. So I think it's a much more competitive league. So where before we could get decent players and spend some money and still finish fourth, fifth, now teams around us, even look at Forest, Bournemouth, like all those teams around us, or even in the top 10, all have money, are all better teams, and we're stuck where we were in the past. So Conte, in the past, he could have gotten us fourth or fifth, but now I feel like it's not the same uh, playing field. I think it's just much tougher.
So let's get on to the players. So you've spoke about the manager. So if you actually one last question just to get it out your system, would you, if you today, would you give Ange to the end of the season, or would you kind of go, now that's it, we're done, or would you wait till after Villa?
Like the issue is, I don't see a plan or any rhyme and reason. So if we were to sack Ange, I would do it before the January transfer window. Sack him in December, bring in a new manager, and at least include him in the transfer decisions. But keeping Ange and bringing in a couple of players at the end, sabotaging basically the whole month of
Yeah.
us losing games. Now keeping Ange, okay. Now if we lost to Liverpool, if we're going to lose to Villa and you sack him, then what? We're going to see Ryan Mason for the third time, and no
Hopefully,
manager.
hopefully, oh, to be fair, hopefully Ryan Mason will be gone with the coaching stuff
Uh,
if he sacks him, because we can't go
is
through that again.
and and which manager, Marlon, is going to leave his club right now? We're going again.
Yeah,
Even in the summer, we failed to get our first or second choice. Even
yeah.
in the
No,
summer.
no, no. I do know.
Now,
Yeah. The one thing I'd say is it's not going to be a manager in a job. We fully well know that it's going to be someone to take over who can
yeah,
take us for the next 6 months. And I get people's reservations, but at the same time, I kind of look at it going, it depends on who it is. It really does depend on who it is, because I know a lot of people don't like Dortmund's ex-manager, but he's out of a job. He did well. He did well as the assistant manager at West Ham, so he does know the league quite well. Maybe he comes and fixes it. I know Allegri's been spoken about. Personally, I think Allegri would do a wonderful job, but he'd go against everything that Levy told us 18 months ago when they employed Ange and at the forums. We've changed our model and this, that, and the other. So, look, there's other managers out there that are not in the job. Xavi, possibly, he's quite attacking. I get it, but it's just the fact that I'm looking at managers that I think will just do a better job than Ange.
yeah,
That's all I'm looking at. I'm not looking at someone who's going to take us to the next level. It's just someone who I personally think could actually go and do the job. And I wanted this to work with Ange. I really do want it to
yeah,
work with Ange. But like you said at the beginning of this segment, the ball ain't going nowhere.
yeah.
Ange and the ball just are going to be like this. It was all good first time round, but it's just not going to happen. But I just quickly want to ask you before I let you go, player wise, what is happening with these players?
I'm I'm
And what,
so
and,
angry.
yeah, and going through the squad, if I said to you, you can only sell 3 players in this summer, which 3 players would you sell, and which 3 key positions would you go? This is and I can only give you 3 signings. Which 3 would you make a priority in the summer as well, just to see what your whole mindset on it is?
I mean, Roy Keane said before, like a while back, where like if a team needs the manager to motivate them, they're not going to win, right? And that defines Spurs. Like our senior players, I'm so angry they're shambles. So the players that I don't want ever want to play for the club again, Bissouma. I didn't
Yeah.
like every big game he makes a mistake that costs us. Chelsea, Arsenal, now last night. He just there is a reason why Conte didn't rate him. He just has he's one of those players, has all the skills in the world, but he might be better playing for a smaller club with less expectations because his footballing IQ and his discipline just not there. So for us, I want to see him back.
Yeah. So with Basuma, people would argue, well, Potter got the best out of him. Why is it down to the obviously he was never going to be a Conte player. You can see by the look of him, he was never going to be a Conte player, and Ange is probably too gung ho for him.
But you know what
So
it is, Marlon?
yeah,
Like and I'm looking at Bergval, right? He's an 18-year-old kid. He makes mistakes, but when Bergval plays, he wants the ball. He's gonna take it. He's gonna push it. He's not gonna be afraid. Bissouma last night. So when I saw this midfield, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to see Bissouma play, but the midfield what should be solid. But the way even Bentancur, the way they play, they were scared. They were afraid.
yeah,
Bissouma should be able to beat his man, beat the press, and push the ball, but he just the moments are too big for him, and he's just not a player for us. Same goes for Madison. Madison is everything. That's what's wrong with the club. When we signed him, I was so happy, and the Leicester fans, as you well know, they warned us, right? Third of the season he plays great, then third
yeah.
of the season he is injured, and
He's
then
his
he's
first
having
10 games though.
again.
You have to admit, his first 10 games, you were like,
Oh
yes,
yeah,
this. Oh my god, Leicester are lying.
oh no, exactly. I mean, he again and that's why he's not in the England squad. His
Yeah,
skill set is great, like Bissouma's. He's a game
yeah,
changer at times, but the difference between good players and elite players is consistency, right? And he's not. The issue with Madison, like the issue with our squad, and with Sonny as well. I love Sonny, but the mental part of the game just isn't there. We need somebody like Milner, like Jordan Henderson, these players who might not be great ability wise, but mentality wise, they're great. And none of like if you look at like I'm going back and forth, but if you look at Sonny last night as a captain, he's pulling out of 50-50 tackles. He's not like again, love Sonny as a person, he's a club legend, but it pains me to watch him play right now. So players like that, like Madison, Basuma, and Sonny at this point, if we want to be a big club, those cannot be the leaders that we have, right? Like they can't. We need a spine that we can rely on. For even Romero, I was a big Romero fan. But if he's a World Cup winner, if he's an elite player, the least he can do is to organize the back line and not make silly mistakes like he's been doing. So I just feel like regardless of the manager, until our leaders are not leading and we don't
yeah.
have the mentality and players are given a free pass, year and year, and the manager gets all the blame and the players just make silly individual mistakes and don't take responsibility, we're going to be in the same boat again, again, again.
So
And
which three positions would you cover in the summer?
I mean, so that's the thing. Everybody agrees we need a six, but for some reason, Ange doesn't want a six. But we need a six. I mean, I'm super happy with Spence. So I said we start Spence over either Udogi or Poro, but we
Yeah,
need a left back to
yeah.
give competition on that side, which we needed this whole year. We need a left back, and nobody's coming in. And it's, I mean, our defense is, eh, we need somebody up front. We're toothless. Like I don't want us to spend 60 million on Tell. It's another kid. He's unproven. I hope he surprises me,
Yeah,
but like everybody says, our defense is an issue. For me, our attack is an issue. We can barely score more than one goal.
yeah.
Like
I'm with
it's
you.
insane. We used to score goals for fun. Now we can't even score one goal. We need a winger who can score. I mean, it's we just need like I just want to see game changers. It doesn't matter where. I want to see players who can change the game for us when the going gets tough, like last night, like against the big teams. I want somebody to step in, not be afraid, and change the game for us. And we don't have any of those players. So for me, a six left back and a winger, I would say. But we need everybody.
Eugene, thank you for coming on. Hopefully, you got it all off your chest.
I did, man. Marlon,
That's what this is for.
appreciate
We're
it,
just
mate.
doing, No, appreciate it indeed. Is there any last messages you want to give to Spurs fans right now to gear us up, get us back on the same page
I just,
before
everybody's
it rigs down
fighting.
now?
All the fans are angry at each other. I say, just stick together. I know there, some protests are happening. My friend, Daigle is organizing the protests. Just all the fans need to stay together, make their voices heard, and not focus their anger on each other, but focus the anger on where it's supposed to go, and it's the board. Other, other than otherwise, we'll never see any changes.
Eugene, thank you. Thank you so much.
Mr. Marlon,
I'll let you go. But cheers,
appreciate.
thank you. No problem at all. Let me now see if this works and I can bring out the next guest. Let me see if this works. Sam, are you well? Oh, can't hear you. Can't hear you. Oh, you're on mute. Come off mute. Come on.
Sorry. I had to be courteous in the background. Didn't want to be making noise.
No. So
Uh,
for the people, yeah, if they come on, they can turn it off. So just before I bring you in, anyone who's in the chat, if anyone wants to come on, the link is pinned. It is pinned. Come on, be in the background. Come and have your say. Look, we're here. We're here for therapy. We're all Spurs fans. We're here to talk to each other. So come on, please. And if there's anyone new to this, please like and subscribe as well. Come over. But Sam, are you well? Apart from Spurs, are you good?
yeah, well, yeah. Other than that, I had to take my medicine at work today from a couple of gooners.
Hey, you say that, right? At least you're getting it. Be happy. My gooners at my work are coming to me going, "You're right. I hope you're okay." That's worse. They don't even take the piss now. They're just literally going, "Am I okay?"
Well, it's like that like episode of The Simpsons where Homer beats like the Hamburglar like basically to death, and it's like one of the kids shouts out, "He's already dead!"
Yeah.
And it's like they just don't even want to banter us anymore because one, they don't see us on their level, and two, it genuinely is just peak for Spurs fans right now.
Yeah. No, definitely peak for Spurs fans right now. But Sam, come on, talk to us. So at the moment, obviously, there's a lot of trouble at Spurs. Like everything's really negative about the club at the moment. But where do you see where the problems, like in your mind, where do you see, like, are you top, are you middle, are you bottom, where do you see what's going wrong at Spurs for you right now? And if you could change anything, if you had the power to change anything, what would you do? Like, you have the power completely in your control. I know there's some things we can't do, but if you had the control.
Um, I feel like maybe I'm different to some people in the sense that I personally don't believe it's the players
Okay.
because all I keep hearing is people saying, "Oh, these players they have no heart, they have no soul," and fair enough. Like last night was absolutely atrocious, right? I think pretty much the only player who could come off the pitch with his head high was Jed Spence. Um, a few other players. I think Danso was decent, like throughout the game, played a few good passes. But I think on the whole, basically only Jed Spence can come off the pitch with his head held high. People keep saying, no, the players, they've got no heart, they've got no passion, blah blah blah. They throw managers under the bus every year, but it's like we've gotten to the point now where, other than Ben Davis and Son, and I have been big on the fact that I actually like Ben Davis, and people have roasted me like basically my entire existence for liking Ben Davis, but I just think he's made of the right
And look,
minerals.
say it proud now. This is your time. You say what you want, right? I'm not here to debate you on anything. I just want you to come out. This is therapy. Say Ben Davis is good. To be fair to Ben Davis, I'll admit he surprised me in the last few games, but he's dependable Ben, isn't he? At the end of the day.
Look, that's it. I think that he was unfairly roped in with the likes of your Dyers and your Sanchez's and that supposed B team that effectively threw us out of every cup competition they ever played with. But my overarching point though is that this is a whole new set of players. It's not the same set of players. Whether you think the players are talented enough to be Spurs players or not, that's a different question, right? But in terms of like actually putting it out there for the club, I think that they kind of are getting a tougher time from fans because basically everyone's so frustrated at everything about the club, and I think to answer your original question, If I could change anything, first of all, it would be the manager. But if I had the power to do anything, it would be to basically get rid of the entire board and everyone who runs the club.
So let's talk about the
Which
ball quickly. Yeah, let's talk
yeah,
about
go
the
on.
ball quickly because that's a good point. And the reason why I've done this is because I want to talk about all three segments. I will go on to the manager, and you've already talked about the players, but we'll talk about players for next year and everything like that. So what I really wanted to know, if right now with the board, what do you see their biggest problem is? Because everyone, when you talk about Levy out on the board, I feel like there's a lot of conflicting things that people want. But you as a fan right now, what would you say is the most important thing for you, and what would you want the board to do if they could change? Because if say we changed them physically, what would you change? But if we can't change them physically, what would you want them to go and do and changing their ways?
I just want them to actually like care about the club. We see all these kind of like these stories, and people say, "Oh, Levy's a Spurs fan." And I heard you guys talking the other day about, Levy couldn't really recall his first match, and admittedly, I myself probably couldn't recall my first match. My first match, I was probably like 4 years old, right? I didn't
Ah,
really get much into football until I was about 11.
yeah, no, I agree. Do you know what? It's really weird because I did say that the other day, and for me, I think it was because I think I was about 4 or 5 as well. I remember my first match. The only thing I couldn't remember was the actual score, and all I remembered was Gary Lineker scoring a hat trick. That's all I could remember at the time. So I went back and looked up at it. All right, I remember who we played. I remember what year, and I remember everything. That's all I could remember. And I went back and looked at it and was like, oh, I was correct. But for me, I feel like a lot of Spurs fans do remember their first experience, but they don't. So you probably remember the first time you went to White Hart Lane, right?
I do. I think my
Vividly,
first ever like
not the
actual
actual game.
Spurs
Yeah,
experience
yeah.
was going away to the Emirates.
See, there you go. So you would remember that with Daniel Levy, he said once with his granddad, I believe, and then he used a completely different scenario the next time he was asked. So for me, it's kind of like no one, no matter which story you're going to tell, you've gone to two different people and explained two different situations on your first game. And I think even in the program notes, we know when Enoch first came into fruition and Levy had his first week in the program. Even that's slightly different to what he's said afterwards as well. So that was the only thing we were saying. But carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, I just want them to care about the club. Like, I don't want to be reading, that one thing they've put out that really pissed me off was they said about buying tickets to the stadium and following in the footsteps of like American football greats.
Mm.
And it's like, hang on a minute, like we're a English football club. We're not like an egg handball like team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why are you not saying come and like stand in the greatness of like the likes of Harry Kane and your Hoddles, your Gazzers and everything? Um, but I just think like I can't remember who it was. I want to credit them, but it was either today or yesterday. I heard someone say about maybe it was Darren on the last word on Spurs. He said about during the transfer deadline, everyone's refreshing their Twitter feeds, which I can attest to because I literally sat at work. I don't think I did a single thing. I just literally refreshed my Twitter feed all day. And normally with the transfer deadlines, I think back to that summer we nearly signed Jack Grealish, and then we ended up obviously
Mm.
signing no one. I must have sat. I was in Cyprus with my family. I must have sat on the beach every day, not even really in the sun, just sitting in the shade. Hand like this, towel over the head, trying to read like my social media, trying to see what was going on. And since then, I basically vowed to like never get invested again. But this window, I don't know why. I just decided, they're gonna do it for us. They're gonna come out and they're gonna be great. And maybe that was my naivety because I've been following Spurs for 15 years or whatever of my life. I'm 25 now,
Yeah.
and not once in my life have I ever seen them actually push the boat out and get a manager what they need. So I just think like if I could change one thing, it would just be actually do your job and I was thinking about what I was going to say when I came on while Eugene was talking.
Yeah.
And like I'm lucky enough that when I started watching football, it was kind of like around the Harry Redknapp era, right?
Yeah,
So
good
first of all,
times.
yeah, exactly. I always loved Harry Redknapp, but we had decent players in there. The football was starting to get better. Then I sort of when I moved to secondary school, I think the first game I watched with my mates, like who were Arsenal fans, was Spurs United, where Jan Vertonghen scored, and he did his little Super Jan celebration.
Yeah,
And
taking
from
memories.
then
Good
on
memories.
was just like my entire school career basically. I didn't even have to like look over my shoulder at Arsenal because they were like average, and uh, it was easy, and I feel like the board managed to get us by hook or by crook
Yeah,
to a high point. We're challenging for the top four every season, whether that's what the fans want to hear in terms of what our aspirations are. But for me, it was always, we really want to get Champions League. We want to be testing ourselves in the Champions League. And now we've gotten to a point where basically since we sacked Poch, we stagnated for a year, and now we've been on a pretty rapid decline. I know that we've had a top four finish under Conte, and Ange managed to get fifth last season. But I think about it, and like the worst thing that could have happened for Spurs was if Ange got Champions League last season, and I genuinely mean that
yeah.
because we
I
we
do, I
just
do
would have
get what
we
you
would have
mean.
been
Yeah.
out of the cup already. It would have been awful. We'd have been in this position that we're in now anyway. But we'd have also been battered by the likes of Inter Milan. All of these. We'd have lost to teams like Lille. And it would have been a horrible, horrible experience.
And we wouldn't have been able to have the transfer, yeah, because if we had the transfer window that we just had. But do you think we'd have had a different transfer window if we were Champions League though, or do you think it would have been exactly the same?
I
Or
think
you'd hope.
maybe there. Yeah, look, I hope that we would have, but let's be honest. Like the building blocks were set in foundation last season by Ange. He managed to get
Yeah,
fifth. Don't get me wrong, I've never really been fully convinced by Ange. I really want to get behind him, but even those first 10 games, I wasn't super like won over by it because I think that we got lucky in quite a lot of those games.
yeah,
Um, but he managed to get us fifth with a pretty abysmal run to the end of the season. But
yeah. It's still strange that we managed to get fifth. When you think about those last 10 games, how we ended up with fifth, I will never know.
yeah, look, exactly. And there was a point where it was like Villa had slipped up, and we were actually looking like we might get Champions League, or
Yeah,
we should get Champions League.
but yeah, they messed up big
But
time.
it's just you like they. So as I said, they had the stepping stones to push on, and rather than push on, they signed a bunch of kids. And don't get me wrong, like Archie Gray and Bergval have been immense for us. I don't necessarily subscribe to the fact that Archie Gray's been great at the back
Yeah,
because
yeah, I'm with you.
I think it gets overlooked the amount of goals he's actually been at fault for. Not necessarily because he's made a mistake, but because
Stay.
his positioning is.
You've been listening to me.
I see it, Marlon. If you go back and look at so many goals, he's
Yeah,
like a few yards behind the defense playing
yeah.
players on side.
And and then the thing is, and I don't know if like you probably I don't know if you agree with this. We're not exactly blaming him, but this is the problem when he's not a natural gifted defender, and people will want to see the good stuff that he's done. But if he's got like the new was it the Newcastle first goal or the second goal where it comes across, and he's like one step behind where all the other defenders, and everyone's blaming Dragishi for the goal, but you're like, well, if Gray was in line with him, he stops that cross. It's just little things like that, and that we've had to deal
Yeah,
with.
look, that is the one, the main one I was thinking about. And look, is Dragusin suited for the system? The signs point to no, right?
Yeah,
But the fact I've said sort of for a long time that we have a really big scapegoat culture in the Spurs fan base, and
yeah, we
I
all do
think
it.
that yeah, look, everyone's got players that they don't like, right?
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a criticism to say like, oh, you pricks, like you're just getting on this guy. But I try and look at the facts, right? You're playing a guy who basically played no football last season after being the top defender in Serie A, one of the top defenders in Serie A. He's then asked to come in and not only play without a recognized senior centre back, but at times without a recognised back five, including the goalkeeper. He's the only one. And okay, so he's already unsettled, but on top of that, he's being asked to be the senior defender when he doesn't even know the system himself.
No, I'm with you. No, it makes perfect sense.
So for me, that like, I don't know. Like, as I say, like he's probably not suited to the system. And maybe we need better, and that's probably why they've brought in Danso, right? Obviously, he's gone off with a season-ending injury, so thank God we managed to do that.
Well,
But you
yeah, but
do
what did
wonder if they.
if that never happened? Do we even bring in
Yeah,
another defender? So,
no, I don't think so. I really don't.
and just quickly on that, why you're talking about? Do you think that we're being held back on the Van der Ven information? When you look at how desperate we were to sign another centre back in Diassi and Mark Gahey, because it was literally like the Friday, because he got injured on the Thursday, didn't he? He played on the Thursday, and we bidded for Mark Gahey on the Friday. Do you think Van der Ven, we will see Van der Ven again this season as well, or do you think
I'm not sure about Van der Ven, to be honest. I actually think maybe it's to do with Romero's future at the club.
Yeah,
Because we were told that Romero was going to be back before Van der Ven, right? And I saw pictures of him at the training ground and everything, and then all of a sudden you've heard nothing about him for like 2-3 weeks, maybe even longer. And I think that when you read stuff in the news that Gahey's camp were completely blindsided by Spurs' bid for him, like they had no idea we were going to try and bid for him.
yeah,
I think it reeks of desperation in the sense that they're thinking Romero's going to go, and we don't want to get to the summer with Romero gone, where a club like Crystal Palace, with a player like Gahey, who I really like, is
yeah,
basically going to have all the power to say, well, we know that you've got 70 plus million
million,
for
yeah,
Romero. We want 75 for Gahey.
yeah. Because the likelihood is that how I think Gahey's got 2 years left on his contract, or a year left after. I think 18 months. He ain't got long left on his contract either, has he?
I think
If I
it's a
remember
year
correctly.
from this
Yeah,
January.
from this January. That's what I thought. Before I bring out anyone else, Sam, is there anything else you want to get off your chest? Just bring it. Or any message you want to send to the Spurs fans, because you've been absolutely brilliant coming on.
Look, I just, it's very difficult right now to be a Spurs fan, right? Like a few weeks ago, a stat came out, and it was including the summer, but it was basically like Spurs have had 9 wins in the Premier League in 9 months. Obviously, that's like 2 months over the summer or whatever. But when I read that, I was like, God, we actually have been starved of any form of like celebration for so long, and that's why it feels like such a chore at the moment to be a Spurs fan.
And we're
I
all in
think
it
that
together.
yeah,
That's the strangest
exactly.
thing.
Look,
No
that's the
matter,
only.
like you can figure, everyone on YouTube, no matter if you get on or don't, you don't get on. When this mess, you look at the fan base, and this is why I wanted to bring this up today and do this session. Everyone's in the same boat. No matter what you like about the board, no matter if you are in or out about the manager, what you've described and what Eugene has described so far, and when the other guests come on, you can kind of see we're all in the same boat. It's a dire situation, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, look, exactly. And as you say, we are all in it together. But like, I've tried so hard to get behind Ange, and even against my better judgment, where every ounce of my being has said, get this guy out of the club,
Yeah.
pretty much from halfway through last season. I've stuck with it, and maybe it's because I listen to a lot of podcasts like Spurs Kings, obviously, and
Oh,
the
big
Irish,
up.
and
Yeah, big up
I
to
hear
Irish as well. Anywhere that I'm on,
I,
you can say. No, I'm joking. It'll be everybody's then.
I hear a lot of different opinions, right? And look, I
Yeah,
do feel really bad for Ange because he has been thrown to the wolves like pretty much every manager before him.
yeah.
But it's just not working. And people in the comments, they're not saying it, but people might say, well, if you're so set on getting rid of Ange, who are you bringing in? But the real fact of the matter is, it doesn't really matter who I want to bring in. It's not my job. And I could list you managers that I like, But the club aren't sitting here and going, "Oh, Sam's saying he wants Iriola. We should go and get Iriola. That would be a good signing." It's like we have no power, right? And I think that's
Mm.
kind of the overarching point, is that the board have all the power, and it's gotten to the point where the fans are so sick of what's going on. They're trying to get power, but ultimately there isn't a lot that we can do. And I was listening to Jar on Last Word on Spurs saying that he set out to go to the Leicester game and ultimately decided, you know what, I just can't be effed for this. Like,
Yeah.
I can't be bothered. And it's sad because I live in Southwest London, that I think the same too. He's coming from, like Manchester or whatever. I'm coming from London and I'm thinking I can't be bothered to go to this shit. Admittedly, I'm still going, and I've
Of
actually
course.
not. I've only seen us win so far, so maybe that was why we lost last night. 'Cause I didn't go, but it's tough. And look, I get that people will blame all facets of the club, and everyone's got their own opinions. We just need to get some sort of cohesion in the fan base to really force change. And the way that Ricky has been going on the Last Word on Spurs, like really going in on his sort of frustration for the board, and it now really is time for a change. I think that everyone kind of needs to eat that feeling that he's got and push it on, because we need to force change now.
No, Sam, great message before you go. But thank you for coming on. Hopefully you've got everything off your chest. And we'll speak again. I'll have to get you on the panel show on a Tuesday with me and Ash as well again, because it's been a while. But thanks again, and see you later.
No worries, sounds good. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Oh, let me see if this works again. Is my next guest gonna come on? Dan. Danielist. Are you well?
Evening.
Are you well apart from Spurs? Come on. We don't want to talk about Spurs yet before we get into it. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you, Marlon?
I'm good. I'm good. It is what it is. Life is still here. We're still living. But you know what? I think one thing from last night, I think I've got from this, and this is probably why I did this today. And I was just saying to Sam, we're all in this together. We are. Everyone is frustrated. Everyone is got to the point of going, what direction is this club going in? But why I wanted to bring it out, why I wanted to do this today was just that for you, I know, where do you think the problems lie at the moment within the club? And personally, what would you change if you could? What would be the first thing you'd go, I'd want to change this before anything else?
Manager's got to be changed ASAP. He
Go on
has
then.
to go. I don't understand, and I'm going to put the question back to you, Marlon. When do you think? When do you think's time's up? I'm hoping I was going to come on today. Big up to everyone in the chat, by the way.
Yeah,
I
big up.
was hoping to come on today and for you to give me some hope, Marlon. To be honest. I've let it all out. I've let it all out this morning. I did a video. I let it all out.
Yeah.
Everything. I covered everything. So I'm thinking, look, when do you think he is going to go? If you look at the fixtures ahead, we're likely to be knocked out the FA Cup on Sunday. Yeah.
So I've always
Um,
said, from since we hit January, I think he would have until the FA Cup game, because we knew we had Tamworth, and at the time we were like, yeah, we're going to go through against Tamworth. We didn't realize how crap it was going to be, but I've always said he will get to the Villa game. And that, I don't even know if I believe that anymore. I just don't know what the club are thinking. The key is obviously on Levy at the moment, and well, but just Man United just scored a last minute winner as well, by the way. So I've just looked at that. But no, for me, I did say the FA Cup, but the Europa League now throws an absolutely different kettle of fish into everything, because everyone will say we've got a chance with him or without him. We have a chance. We have the players to probably be in that competition and win something. We have it. Like, there are the Lazios of this world and everyone else that are in it. But on our day, like let's take the Galatasaray game. If Ange doesn't mess that up, and I'm with you, if Ange doesn't mess that up, we give Galatasaray a better game. They missed so many chances that day, and we were just more clinical. But we just had a whole bunch of players that shouldn't have been out there in that environment. But I don't know. I personally think that the club will give him towards the end of the season. If I think that's right or not is a completely different thing.
so if he keeps losing, like the game against Man United next week, is a winnable game because Man United are not great. Let's be honest, we're at home. We've beat them a couple of times this season,
Boy,
so then he's
yeah,
probably going to still be in the job then. It's the
yeah.
fixtures afterwards that you look at. Manchester City at home, Bournemouth at home, tough games, tough
But
games.
would
That's
you,
more
would
defeats.
Stan, on a serious note, because you've just mentioned them games, but would you not be surprised if you went and beat Bournemouth and Manchester City because they're the home games? Would you not be surprised at all?
No, we're not beating them.
Why
No
not?
chance. No chance. We're rubbish,
Manchester
mate.
City. Look,
Let's
look,
be honest.
Manchester
We're not a
City.
good
Come.
team. We're not a good team. We're not a good team. Everything's regression. The injuries, yeah. Well, we should have a few more players back by those
Yeah.
games, but I just think
So
the
just
system's
on that,
failed.
because just
It's
yeah,
failed
just
completely.
so just on that, our next few games are going to be. Or forget Villa, take out Villa. It's going to be Man
Mhm.
United at home, Ipswich away, City at home, Bournemouth at home, and Fulham away. Well, yeah, Fulham away still. Fulham's still there apparently. And then we go into Chelsea, Southampton, Wolves, Forest, and then it's probably going to get a
Yeah.
bit harder after that. But
So that's another
do you,
three defeats out of four.
but
So I don't know how he can survive that. He's already
but he
lost
did.
13 games.
Do you not think though? Look, let's take the Brentford game on the weekend. Everyone had us down to lose, and we ended up winning the
Hmm.
game somehow.
Yeah.
Do you not think we can get results like that against some other teams? Because we're not. Look, I think I heard
I
Saba
just think
say
we were
earlier.
lucky. We
Yeah,
were
I heard
lucky,
Saba
man.
say earlier. Yeah, we're not going to get relegated. I think we're all on that, right? We're not going to get relegated.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get relegated. I think once we've got some players back, I think we'll get
Yeah,
enough wins. We're 10 points away from it at the moment. I see that Brentford. We should have beaten Leicester, so I see that as that 3 points made up for not beating Leicester.
okay.
I
Yeah,
don't.
true.
I just don't think we're going to win many more games. We will win a few, but what I'm looking at is the defeats. They're piling up, aren't they? So it's
Yeah,
13. Looking at the fixtures, we're going to lose another 3 or 4 out of them. We'll be out of the FA Cup. I just don't see how he can survive much longer. You can't keep losing football matches. They've backed him. They've brought in players in January. Yeah, that's what he wanted. Yeah, they
yeah.
spent money in the summer. And just spent a lot of money. I don't think it can go on much longer, and I just really hope that he's gone ASAP, get another manager in, and he can run us through that Europa League and give us a chance. Because I think
So
we're in a fourth.
oh, his reception's gone. Dan, can you still
Um,
hear us? Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, I can. Sorry, mate. My phone was ringing, and I
oh,
just had to shut it down. I just think we're in a fourth position in the league. I think that squad and team is a lot better than where we are, and I just think with the right
yeah,
coach
I
coming
agree
in.
with you on that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think even with the injuries that we've got, I still think it's a top 10. The team, the starting 11s he's put out for me, and this is where I do agree with a lot of people. Even this was even when I was completely Ange in still, because you know it was only me on the last Spurs review when we all had it. It was only me that was still Ange in. Everyone else was like, get him out, get him out. But if you look at the teams that he's played, apart from Archie Gray really being in that position, I still think the squad should be good enough to be 10th, at least in the top 10.
Well, we should be challenging with that squad European positions and
Do you
trying
think
to
so,
win a
even
cup
with the
with that squad.
injuries?
Yeah, definitely. I just think we're so mismanaged, defensively set up awfully. Um, there's enough there in that team to be much better if with the right coach coming in to get that
So
team going.
the
Definitely,
reason why
100%.
I'm kind of yeah, the reason why I'm kind of looking at you like that is going because if I look at it and say, okay, Vicario, Van der Ven, and Romero are as a free. I know we went and bought Kingsley, but as a free, they've been missing since what, late October, no, early November. When did we play City? So if I went and said to you, let's look at the top four sides and say let's take Raya out, Saliba out, and Gabriel. Let's take Edison out, Diaz and um, Ake, right? And you see how Man City are not coping without Rodri at the moment, right? Let's take Van Dijk out, Alisson out, and Konate out of Liverpool. Do you think they're still getting the same results? Oh, we can only see his table now. Dad, where you gone? Elijah's patiently waiting in the background. Earth to Dan, Earth to Dan. Oh, he's gone. Let me bring out Elijah then. We'll see if we can get down back. But you know, I asked him as soon as I ask him a question, he goes, "Elijah, you good?"
Yo, I'm
How
glad
are
I finally
you?
got my opportunity, man. I put my I asked a couple weeks ago if I wanted my time on the channel. You told me to sod off, but I found a way. I've bided my time, and now I'm here on the channel. It's been great, man.
Man,
Ready for
I'll
my.
just tell you that. Go ask Ash. Ain't got nothing to do with me. You go ask Ash.
Well, I didn't have to ask Ash this time, man. I'm on here, but
Well, first of
yeah,
all,
man.
right, before I ask it, before we're okay, first of all, me and you have dipped between two big no-nos. We're both wearing red, mate.
True, but I got Chicago on though, so
Yeah,
it's
mine's Duff
Chicago.
beer. So,
Yeah, you know what I'm
but to
saying?
be
Chicago,
fair,
man. Yeah,
I had a blue hoodie on. I just needed something to put underneath to keep warm.
fairs. I've got a blue tripod, if that makes
Yeah.
any difference. So it's what it is, man. But to be fair,
Elijah.
not better than
So,
Arsenal.
so look, let me ask the questions. Let me ask. Look, the reason why I've done this show, and I'll say it again, and everyone in the chat's heard me. Look, at the end of the day, something that's really big that's come out of last night for me is that actually every Spurs fan's in the same place. No matter how we all want to look and how differently we feel, we're all a bit like, after watching that, it was, look, we lose to Liverpool. Yeah, that's not
Yep.
the problem. Losing to Liverpool is not the actual problem. I think the biggest issue for us is the way in the manner it was. But
Yeah.
before I carry on with the question, I just want to say to anybody, if anybody wants to join us, wants to come and talk to get anything else out of the chest, you don't even need to come on camera. You can just do it with your voice. Just click the link that's pinned to the chat and come in and talk to me, and I'll bring you on straight after Elijah because he's the last guest at the moment. So if anyone wants to come on, please come on and feel free. Get it off your chest. Anything you feel about the club, anything you feel about the players, anything you feel about Ange, come and talk to me. Right, we're here. We're here. This is the therapy session. Get on. So you ready for the couch therapy session, Elijah?
Oh, I'm ready, man. I'm ready, man.
So for you right now, obviously, you've obviously come into the YouTube world in the last few months, right? Wrong
Yeah.
time to join, by the way.
Worst time in the world, but hey.
Worst time in the world. Or who joins at the worst time this club's ever been in? But on a serious note, if you were looking at it and you had the choice right now, where do you think the biggest problem lies right now within this club?
Biggest problem is recruitment, in my opinion. I've
Yeah.
heard the Levy. I understand the Levy. Understand the problems with the manager.
Yeah.
Understand the problem with the players. I get all of that, but for me, it's recruitment because even if you want to say this manager's the one, even if you don't believe the manager's the one, however you feel about Levy, the recruitment is the issue because we're not only playing players not to their weaknesses, we're also getting players in who the profile doesn't fit the team. And we see that with so many. I could list off signings, but the chat already knows. I'm sure someone's already talked about it at some point. The signings we've made are horrible. Whether the player themselves are just not at the profile that we need, or as quality wise as a player, they're just not up to standard. You know, there's so many players at the club that's been entered the club the last couple of years, last maybe 3-4 years, that just don't fit the standard. And that's basically one of the biggest reasons to why we've been slowly sliding down the table because now we have to rely on these signings and they're either not playing up to standard or they're getting injured. So
Do you think
that's it
do,
for me.
do you think the recruitment's been down to because we didn't know really what style we were going for? Because obviously we went from. I'm going to take it back to Poch. The only reason I'm going to take it back
Yeah.
to Poch is because I'm going to take that as the last time we were, as a fan base, happy, fully and truly happy with the way the club was being. There was still there many little bits,
Mm-hmm.
but we were happy. We were quite happy. We wanted Poch to be backed, and that was the last thing we wanted. Since then, we've gone from Conte, Mourinho, Nuno, Conte to Ange.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're recruiting for those three managers, even between Conte and Jose, it's a different type of footballer they want. They generally
Yeah.
don't want the same player. Even when you look at them at Chelsea, you got one man who plays three at the back, and the other one, they might be both quite defensive coaches, but they play different styles of football with that
Yeah.
defensive style. And Spurs haven't really known what direction they're going in until until Ange signed. If we're being
Pretty
honest.
much. Yeah, and all
So
of that
the
is
yeah
correct. Yeah, all that's correct. All that's fair. But I mean, even the signings that have been made under this manager, because there's a lot of debate as to who Ange wanted, who Ange didn't want. Is this an Ange signing? Is this a Levy signing? I'm just trying to talk on a level that
yeah
everyone can get with, you know. Because but the signings that have come in, whether Ange has okayed them, not okayed them, the players for the most part have either been not good enough or don't fit the system.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe a Solanke, maybe we don't know much about Odebear, and the young players we haven't even seen the young players play properly in the position they want to play in a position to even succeed really. So I'm not even going to put that on the young players either. But most of the signings that have come in just at the Ange tenure alone have either been not good enough or the profile's been kind of not it. So I understand, let's say if a signing Conte had, it doesn't fit in the Ange system and he's not performing well. That makes sense to me because it's two completely different styles. Like, it's not even remotely similar the way these guys play. But even if you just want to break down Ange's tenure, the players that have come in, the Brennan Johnsons, the Dragashins, of course, Odebear hasn't played. Solanke is good at what he does, but he's a target man first,
So
and
can I ask you a question on that? Like,
yeah.
just to add on to it, because obviously Spurs have now gone down this data-led model.
Hmm.
And with data, I always say this, it's all good going down that model, but it depends on who's interpreting the data.
Yeah.
Right. So me and you could be given 4 players each. They could be given all the data behind it, what they're good at, what they're bad at, what this, what that. But me and you, even though we're both recruiting for Ange, could read it and could give 2 complete different answers.
Yeah.
Depending
100%.
on the data. Right. And the other thing is, if I said to you, the Spurs have always come out and it's always with this data-led approach said they want to copy Brighton and Brentford. The players that we've signed, would you say that they're probably on Brighton and Brentford's level? And that's probably what the bigger issue is.
I mean, I guess Archie Gray only on the account that Brentford were about to get him,
And Brennan Johnson.
and I guess I'm Brendan Johnson because Nottingham Forest. So I guess on the account that they were gonna sign him,
This is why I'm
probably
asking the question, yeah. Because
yeah.
I know we look at Brennan Johnson, or me and you've been scathing about him. And Archie Gray, you're a bit more scathing than I am, but mine's more about his positioning more than I don't think he's a great fullback, but I think he's very good on the ball and whatnot. But I think sometimes his positioning comes into question. But when you look at the signings we've made, they're probably all signings that Brentford and Brighton would have made, apart from
Yeah.
the overseas ones right now. But we look at Van der Ven. Van der Ven is worth a lot more than the 40 million that we bought him for,
Yeah.
even with the injuries. So that's something Brighton will do. They'll go and spend 10, 15 million here, and then make them into, like, they just got 90 million. They just rejected. Brighton rejected a 90 million bid from the
From
Toma.
Matoma, yeah, I saw that.
This is
Which is crazy.
crazy. Like, Brighton have got to that level, but this is Tony Bloom. He's very good at what he does, and people have been. Let's talk about Basuma, right? Basuma obviously has come to Spurs, and he's been a shadow of himself to what everyone saw at Brighton.
Yeah, for the
So,
most part, yeah.
so do you think the recruitment's more down to who they're recruiting it for, the manager? Because obviously Basuma wasn't for Ange,
Yeah.
Bentancur wasn't for Ange, Kulu wasn't for Ange,
I
but
mean,
yet,
even in these situations, like whether we think if Ange had his first priorities, he would succeed, that's hypothetical. So really none of us would ever know. But in terms of the players that have come in, like we've even this January transfer window alone, when we went for an attacker, we wanted Kolo Muani, rejected. Then we went to this player, then we went to that player. Finally got Tell, who doesn't even want to be here. He's just here because he can play. And then with a defender, we got rejected by Tamori, and then we had all these defenders. We finally got Danso, who was going to go to Wolves, and it's obvious just from the players we were linked to. Like, we threw 70 million at Gay. Danso and Tel are not Andrew's first choice, innit? And I know to a certain extent you got to be like, yo, you have to win with what you have. Like, you can only
yeah,
play what you have, and you got to try and switch things up. So I've been very critical about Ange for that, and it's part of the reason why I'm Ange out in it. But in terms of just recruitment anyway, like going back to the data thing that you talked about, I don't even think about it as if two people can interpret it differently, which is true. I'm also looking at, like, you can look at the past with data, but you
yeah.
can't look at the future. You can't look at how things might change. Like, for example, the landscape of the league might change. The level of
Yeah.
competition might change on a season to season basis.
Formations might change and stuff like,
Formations might
because
change,
we
tactics.
like when we went from 4-4-2 to 4-3-1 to 3-4-3, and playing it out from the back to not playing it out from the back, going long. Obviously everything always changes, and you're right. You are right in that sense. That's a very, very good point.
Yeah, it's that type of stuff. So, like, for example, the inverting fullbacks wasn't something that happened 5 years ago. 5 years ago,
No.
it was overlapping fullbacks or the fullback stayed back. It was one of those two, and then it slowly turned into a three-back kind of thing when Conte was winning with a three-back. Then we saw other teams try it, and then Pep started inverting fullbacks, and then Arsenal did it, and now everyone's trying to invert fullbacks. Chelsea are doing it now, so it's just kind of a phase that slowly and surely there's phases for a few years in
Yeah.
football where things will go into invert fullbacks or having. There was a time when City had four centre backs across the whole defense, and then
Yeah.
Arsenal had four centre backs across the whole defense. So there's times where things just change, and that's why data is important. And you can use history. History can repeat itself, but in terms of actually going out and profiling future players based on past data, you
Yeah.
never know what can happen because things in the league can change very easily.
Yeah, because Harry Kane, I'm going to sit there and say Harry Kane on past data before he like, let's talk about his youth days, they would never have predicted he'd be the player he is today, especially after his loan moves.
Yeah.
It just happens when it clicks. It clicks. Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale probably was predicted to be the player he was, but again, it took a moment where it clicked. It took a manager
Yeah.
that it clicked with. So yeah, I totally agree with you. So let's get on the Ange out bit, right? Because I know you want to get some frustration out. I can tell that you're frustrated with Ange as well. What's frustrating you about Ange? Why? Because some of the fan base know it's not Ange. He's got to stay. It's merely us fans that are stupid that don't want to keep him. Why has he got to go? Why has he got to go in your eyes?
Well, believe it or not, I'm not I'm still Ange out, but my smoke, I ain't gonna lie. And in this particular instance, because obviously the Liverpool game just happened, they're all kind of healing from that.
Yeah.
And my head was gone when he put Spencer right wing. I'm gonna be so real.
My head nearly went. I couldn't believe it when Porro, who can't defend, and he was good at
Is
crosses,
that right back?
is
And
right
Spence,
back,
who's the
and
best defender on the pitch at the time, was playing right wing.
I totally lost me.
It lost me completely.
But to be fair, I don't know even if we turned it the other way around, I don't think anything changes.
Yeah, nothing changes, but it's just one of those weirdo, wacky things. Like, how people say, he's going crazy. That's he's going crazy moment right there. But I'm not gonna lie, after that Liverpool game, I'll be real, most of my smoke is for the players, man. Like, as of right now, like, I've got obviously my gripes about the manager and the manager has to go with this type of stuff. But in terms of that specific game, like, when people say, oh, I can't blame the manager for this one, I blame the players, that was the epitome yesterday for me. Like, yes, the manager made some bozo decisions. Not starting Bergvall was kind of crazy considering what he did against Liverpool the previous time. And then not subbing him on straight away. Obviously, the Spence incident, kind of
I
crazy.
still don't get why in that game, why he, out of all the games you need to give Porro a rest. I don't understand why. I don't know why you did it in the semi-final. It's a decision. I know he needed a rest. I get he needed a rest, but you don't do it in the biggest game. We literally had Archie Gray playing right back, and he's not the best. Yeah. He's the third best right back at the club.
And the thing is, in like 20 minutes in, Spence and Archie Gray actually switched. Like, Spence was on Salah's side. 20 minutes in, they switched. So Archie Gray was on Salah, and my head almost went then as well. Like, I'm not gonna lie, though, I was borderline crashing out throughout at different parts. I can't lie, Marlon, it was bad. But yeah, the players just. And to be fair, my head went, especially for Kingsky, bro. He annoyed the hell out of me.
So it's quite funny because I think me and Ash nearly got a bit heated about it. And look, I probably give it to Ash in the end. He was probably right, but he's not trusting Kingsky at all.
I don't. I was on stream earlier, Marlon. It was me, Haz, TJ, and Eugen. We was on Haz's channel. Them three were trying to. I was like, yo, this Kingsky guy. One of the Harry's in the chat, Fairs. But
Harry, yes, you can still come on. Just click the link if you still want to come on. The link is still there. Just hover in the background until I'm done with Elijah.
So I was literally on stream here, like, yo, Kingsky is one of the worst goalkeepers I've ever seen. Him, TJ,
he's not that bad.
I can't lie. I genuinely believe like he's one of the worst goalkeepers I've seen at Tottenham.
No. That isn't no. I hope it's just words coming out of your mouth. He's not the worst.
Right now, he can improve, but right now, he's
not the worst.
Right now, he's one of the worst. But
I'm sorry. We had Galini. Galini was probably one of the worst. No, Galini was terrible. Joe Hart was. Joe Hart.
Yeah, that's another one. Just as bad as Joe.
Joe Hart weren't. Joe Hart. If it was Joe Hart at Celtic.
The only thing that saves Kinsky is that he's young and he can he can get better. That's the only thing saving him.
No, he's not the
But
worst guy.
that's what it is about these goalkeepers. Yeah, like this is why I rate Alisson a lot higher than Edison, because when your best attribute as a goalkeeper is with your feet and not with your hands, we have an issue, bro. That's what they mean. But yeah, when your best attribute as a goalkeeper is not
Yeah.
saving shots, we have a problem straight away. And this is why I have a problem with Edison as well, because his best attribute isn't saving shots.
I'm with. Do you know
You know
what?
what
I'm
I'm
with.
saying?
I know. Do you know what? I didn't really think until. I think it wasn't until the Arsenal game. I think that's when I realised, and that's where I agree with you. Say he lets them go through his hands, and I don't understand as a goalkeeper, right? And I'm someone who plays in goal myself. Everything else he's got is stuff that I'd love to have as for him to be a goalkeeper. But the one thing that I think I'm better than him at is saving shots
It's
that are
saving
close to him.
shots.
And
Yeah.
that Trossard goal, the Leicester one, the second one, the first one, Vardy's finish where he tries to come out, he mistimes it, and then obviously the Liverpool one. Even though if you look at the penalty, he did apparently get the ball first.
I hear it, but the first and
Wow.
the third goal were inexcusable for me.
It's inexcusable. So
Inexcusable.
I hear it. So would you
Yeah.
bring back Vicario?
Yes, I never understood this hype of, because obviously after
So
Liverpool and Tamworth, they were like, "Yo, start him over Vicario. He's better than
you
Vicario."
but you know the reason why, don't you?
I don't.
Because
If he
Vicario,
can
yeah,
catch a
because
ball.
no. Vicario can't catch a ball, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's with his feet, Vicario causes a lot of issues. And I've always said if when Vicario gets the ball at his feet, Ange just got to stop making him pass it.
hmm
Because he's not very good at it. He's not the best. Where Kingsley, to be fair to him, like you just said, he's good at that part. That's the bit he's good at. We basically need Kingsley and Vicario to be one.
Yeah, if they were one, then
Perfect
I hear it,
goalkeeper.
innit? I hear it.
Perfect
But
goalkeeper. But
yeah,
we're in a situation now where you have to decide if you're going to play a certain style of football. I think Kingsley is more suited to Ange than what Vicario is in the way he wants to play from the back. If we went back to a model where where Vicario can hit it long, as a shot stopper, Vicario is one of the best. He's brilliant.
yeah,
I've got no faults
Yeah.
with him. I've got no faults when it comes to Vicario as a goalkeeper. It's the ball in his feet and the coming out for crosses, which he's always been weak at, is where my issue with him.
yeah. Which I understand, and that's all fair points in it. But when it comes to Kingsley, I don't think his level of passing is enough to compensate. For Edison, his level of passing is enough to compensate, which
Yeah.
is why he's as good of a goalkeeper as he is.
And
And
he's
it's
not
why,
troubled as much.
yeah, and it's why, literally, and it's why, goalkeepers like Manuel Neuer is one of the greatest of all time, because
Yeah.
he's not just a great passer of the ball, he's a great shot stopper as well.
Stopper,
You got to
yeah.
have that balance. And right now, Kingsley is literally 95% kicking, 5% with his hands, 5% saving. And it's stuff like that it's stuff like that that really frustrates me, because as a goalkeeper, I understand passing out the back, but we've been saying sometimes you just got to kick it long, fam. And the worst thing about Vicario is not even how bad his passing was or how mid his passing was or however you view his passing. It's the fact that he always passed it. He never kicked it long. And it doesn't matter how good of a passer you are. We could have Edison in net himself. Sometimes you can't kick it long. And even Edison knows this, because Edison kicks it long. Like, there's times where Edison kicks it long. There's times when Neuer kicks it long. All the best goalkeepers, Alisson kicks it long. Kingsley never kicks it long. Man said intelligent football discussion. Right? You are my... Yo.
He's talking about me.
Off, man.
He's saying he wants you and Ash to come on to have intelligent one, because me and Scott guy all the time.
I thought he was trying to call me dumb. I was like,
no,
Scott,
it's me. Now me and Scott go back.
Hey,
Scott,
appreciate you, Scott, my bro.
Yeah, no, Scott ends cool with me, man. He's always coming for me. Always coming for me. Ever since the chat when we were like 200 people channel, Scott's been with me day dot.
Hey, big up Scott.
So
I
I've
see
always
Scott
got
on so many different
yeah.
I
Scott's
see
my
Scott on
guy.
so many channels, man.
Scott is my guy.
Big up Scott every time, man.
He's one of the only people that every time he throws me shots, I'm like, I know he's been in my streams for so long. He could do whatever he likes.
Yes, I hear it. Big up Scott.
And
I need to get to that level, man. I need to get to that level where I can just...
I moaned at him because I was on I think I was on Savage channel, and he sent Savage a super chat, and it was something mentioned me in it, and I was like, hold on, you've never given me one. So every time now he's making little digs.
His second super chat, so he's gonna mark them every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Scott
Oh,
M
let's
as
go.
like, I just wanted to big up Scott M. We've got
Yeah, big
enough
up
time
Scott
for
every
you.
time, man.
Yeah.
Okay. But in terms of Kingsley, is just his shot stopping ability is very bad, and it's like
Mm.
if this was his first ever club, his first appearances as a top flight player, I'd understand it, innit? But the man is 21, and I know people talk about goalkeepers age differently to outfield players,
Yeah.
and he still has time to learn this type of stuff, and I understand that fully. But if
You
you
take
can't
someone
get the
like you take Martinez as a prime example who
yeah,
came into the
who
game late.
ages into it, yeah.
Yeah.
But if like it's something about the fundamentals. Like if you can't get the fundamentals down
Yeah.
at your age, like in my opinion, the only way you should be able to get to that level is if you've mastered the fundamentals at a bare minimum. You got to know the fundamentals. As a goalkeeper, if you can't save the ball, how did you get here? Like how are we here right now? You're a goalkeeper who can't save the ball.
And they bought him 6 months. Like someone put in what data were they looking at when they looked at Kingsley? Because
Yeah. It must have only been the passing one because he can kick a ball, but
he can
when
kick
the
the ball.
kicking isn't working, like against Liverpool, the passing isn't working. So now I need you to save the ball, and he
Yeah.
can't save the ball. So that's where the issue comes. Like Vicario, if the kicking doesn't work, at least he can save the ball. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's like sometimes I'm just losing my hair watching this guy in net because I'm like, especially
You got
like
a lot of it compared to me.
I've got a lot to lose, to be fair, innit? You know what I'm saying? I've got a lot, man. I've got a lot to lose, so I can give some hair out. You know what I'm saying, to the stress. But
Give some to me, man, because I'm getting old now. And if people don't know, Elijah's channel, Too Much of E, he done literally a show like digging me out.
it was an entire video just dedicated to the man's hairline, bro. It was long. But hey, you shouldn't have given me that ammo, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
I gave you that.
shouldn't
Look,
have given
I gave you the ammo. I'm fair play. But
me.
E,
Don't worry,
before I
Ash
let you
gave me some
go,
ammo as well.
yeah.
So it's
Before I
cool.
let you go, right? Before I bring Danny back because Danielist, sorry. Before I bring Danielist back out,
Yeah.
do you see any positives going forward in the next few months, or are you kind of like, let's get this season done and let's reassess this in the summer?
Oh no, let's get the season done. I'm not gonna lie, because the most promising youngster we've brought in is on loan for 6 months. Whether we get him or not, because he rejected us buying him. So I'm assuming that he's just going to play here for 6 months and then go back to Bayern. Or I've heard links that he wants to go to United. I don't know. But I don't think he's going to be here past
I
his
think
loan.
he wants to stay at Bayern. He said he wants to stay at Bayern. He
Okay,
wants to become
that's fair
a
enough.
legend
So
for them.
yeah, so I'm under the ilk of I believe the manager's going to be here to the end of the season. If
Yeah.
he is, then it is what it is. We finish out the season, let him play it out, and then at the summer we reevaluate what we're going to do. If he stays, then he has to get his first priority targets. Like there's no other way to kind of save his tenure in any way. If if we're not able to secure his targets, then at that point we should just let him go and bring in someone to where we can get their targets because it's not going to work. Like we've seen him with secondary options, hasn't worked. We're in relegation form. So at this point, if you choose to sack the manager, bring in someone else who can do something else with the team, and that's pretty much it.
No, thank you so much, Jordan. I'll answer your question at the end. I've said this yesterday when we were on Tottenham TV. I said I'm getting to the point where he's messing about with Spence so much, and he hates the fact that Spence has come into the team and done so well and has been proving him wrong, that I think he tried to put him at right wing yesterday just to go, please mess up so I can I can kind of drop you out of this. Now the whole squad's come out obviously today, and obviously Spence back in, so it means that Kingsley's now out. Now for me is Kingsley will obviously play against Villa on Sunday, but what's going to happen with League? Because if we go out on Sunday, that's it. Kingsley's season's done. Because if Vicario comes back in, Kingsley's done for the rest of the season. He ain't gonna play again, is he? That does not help anybody for the next 6 months.
Yeah, so it's
So
and you see what happens with Regulon as well. Like Regulon did okay, and
but he's not done as good as Spence. Yeah,
he ain't done as good as Spence. But I think Spence he probably feels somewhat humiliated when it comes to
because
how
why is he not? But like we both said, he had a chance to put him at right back yesterday. Right, he had the complete opportunity, and he chose to put him right wing. When, if you look at between him and Porro, unless Ange is that stupid, which I don't think he is, This is why I kind of said I believe he's putting him a right wing, because he's trying to find a reason to get him out so he can play his team again. You know, the team that
Yeah.
started the season where Spence wasn't in it. I think he wants to get back to that, and that's the reason why I tried to put him right wing, because he wants Porro, Udogie, Van der Ven, Romero as the back four. He doesn't want Spence fitting into that because all of us are questioning him right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because we're all calling for Spence to start, even when everyone else is back healthy. We all want Spence to play games. So, yeah, at this point, I'm not gonna lie. If that's what, and this is us being lenient as well, because we're giving Ange the benefit of the doubt when it comes to his mentality.
Yeah.
So,
And this,
if I,
and I believe there is. When it comes to this, there's something not right about the whole thing that Spence has been treated. I get there's been other issues that they've said, like you've come out and said these other issues that had to mature. But I just, that yesterday did make, like, everyone could clearly see. Everyone's been asking. All of us have said, what's his name? He's a right wing back from a start, Horror. So where did he get in his mind? Because remember, Conte did the same thing. He brought him on a right wing when he at Nottingham Forest.
yeah,
We're all like, what?
a head scratcher.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
It was a head scratcher.
yeah.
So look, I could be wrong. I could be reading too much into it. That's it. I could be just reading too much into it because of the way Spence has been treated this season. But I think a lot of people, when I say, because I think I said on Last Word on Spurs last weekend, was it last weekend? Yeah, after Brentford, and Jed Spence is a blot on Ange, on everything Ange has done. But you had people saying, but he signed a contract, he's given him a chance, he's done this, he's done that with Spence. And you look at it and you look at the big picture. Spence was the best player in pre-season. Didn't get a minute after that until Coventry. I think he got a couple minutes as a sub, right? So he was out the team, didn't get a minute. Came on against Coventry, got the winner, got the equaliser, saved his job because we were all like, he's gone after this. And then we didn't see. Okay, he got injured, but then we didn't see him again. And it only caused the desperation of the injuries where he's played, like him and Reguilon. But Reguilon ain't come back into the team.
Literally, yeah.
Literally. And we understand that. Reguilon is only there as a body. But Spence has come in and done well and saved him. He's been better than Archie Gray at fullback. Archie Gray's been obviously a better centre-back than he would, what Spence would be. Not going to sit there and deny that. But there is something just clearly not... There's something just still in my head about it. Look, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I could be reading
I
too much into it.
He's gonna die on that hill, you know. He's gonna die on that Spence hill because playing Archie Gray at right back isn't it. I know that's what he was brought in to do, but since Spence has emerged as the best right back in our team, it would only make sense then to have Spence and Porro as the right backs.
Look, and let's throw this out before everyone starts having a mishmash of me and what I'm saying, and or whether you believe it or not. Let's wait until Porro. Let's wait till we have our back four, and we have Porro, Spence, and Gray available. Then Porro gets injured. Let's see who goes there first, Gray or Spence.
Oh, we know the answer already, bro.
We know the answer. We know the answer, but we'll see it. But Elijah, thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate having me.
Obviously, you'll be back on the Tuesday show as soon as we get a slot in for you and you're ready.
No good, man.
But as always, absolute pleasure, my brother.
Pleasure. Take care, Marlon.
Let me bring in Dan. Dan back in. Dan, you messed up,
apologies, man. Apologies, man.
You've only got 5 minutes, man, because then I was asking you a civilized question as well.
I know, dodgy internet where I am, man. I'm not at home, so
yeah. Right. I won't
mate. It's done. It's done. I'm not going to jump back on. But yeah,
don't worry. I won't keep you long. There was a question I wanted to ask you, and then there was only really two questions I'd left. But what I was asking was, because you were obviously speaking about the injuries and stuff, and I was trying to ask you if you took the starting back three, as in the goalkeeper and the two centre backs, out of anyone in the top four, well, not in the top four. So let's take Reyes Saliba and Gabriel out. Let's take Van Dijk, Konate, and Alisson out, and keep them out for 2 months. Do you still think they're still getting the same results?
Look, these injuries will affect any team, but not as bad as it's affected us.
No.
Yeah. We've, that.
I'm not sitting there saying Ange's been golden in all this. It's because you said earlier, I still think we are good enough to be in the European places. I'm kind of looking at it going, I don't think we are, but you obviously do. And I just wanted to say, do you think if Arsenal had those three missing for 2 months, where would you think they'd be? Do you think they'd be 7th, 8th, or do you
Yeah,
think they'd still be second?
they would drop down a little bit, but not this bad.
Not this bad. Okay.
Yeah, because they're managed differently, aren't they? The manager would set it up differently to
Plus, he has players to cover, I suppose, in California and Timber and.
And I just don't think that the defenders who've come in have done that bad. I just think it's just the whole structure of the team is awful. And Ange, we know we've seen him change the last couple of games, but when I was saying a lot about changing, adjusting, doesn't mean you have to throw your whole system. Just change it
Yeah,
a bit. Don't go gung ho the whole game. Sit back a bit. Choose the time to press. Just game management. But Ange has gone from the extreme, isn't he? We've gone completely defensive, forgotten how to attack. There's no middle ground, and any good manager can defend and attack. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. So my last question to you before I let you go, because I know obviously you're quite busy, and thank you for coming on as well. But if you were to replace Ange right now, considering what's out there, right? Because you want him gone.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, who would be your ideal, but who would be your realistic choice? Because you obviously must have thought about both by now.
Look, there's no reason why we can't get Ariola from Bournemouth. Just throw the money down and get him. Clearly he's a good manager. He could do a lot with this team. Look what he's done with Bournemouth. With a lesser squad than ours. You just have to be brave, be bold, and go for it. But I'm not sure if Levy will do it. We might have to wait for someone like that till the summer. We may be
Yep.
looking for an interim, more likely, to get
Yep.
us through for the rest of the season, and that'd be good for me. Someone who can kind of shore us up a bit. Just go back to basics, play to our
Which
strengths, but
which
play in the right position. Who?
who if I was to offer you Mason as the back, because we're just talking hypothetically here.
I don't want to hear that name, Mason. I'm sorry. No,
But
anyone else, not Mason, not Mason.
so
That's
would
not.
you still? So if it was if it came to the point of it was either Ange or Mason for the rest of the season, would you stick with Ange or would you just go? Because we know the only reason why I'm saying Mason is because we've been in this situation twice before. He's still at the club, which I believe he shouldn't be, or he should be in a lower position. He should be with the under 18s or something, not with the first team. But we're looking at it and we're going, we know how Levy thinks. I think that's what we're all coming here. We're coming to the fact that we all know how Levy thinks. So would you, if you had a choice between the two, and that's the only two you've got, who are you going for the
That's
end of
such
the
a horrible
season?
question, Marlon.
I know, but I've got to
Such
ask
a
these
horrible
questions.
question. I
I've got
can't
to
you
ask,
give
sorry,
us another manager's name? Not Mason, man. No, that's not going to do a lot at all. We won't really improve much at all with Mason. We need somebody more established to come in, a proper manager. We've done the
I get
Mason
it, I
thing
get it.
before, and it's just done not a lot.
There's no
We
Harry
figured
Kane
out
this
the
time as
problem.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
No Harry Kane, no Gareth Bale.
No way, no way. It's difficult, isn't
That
it, man? It's difficult.
it's
What would you
difficult.
do then? Who would you bring in?
Do you know what? I would bring in a temporary manager. Um, I'd probably go for right now I think the under 23s manager and 21s manager. I'd bring him to the first team for now because if they are talking about the way they've done it from top to bottom, well, in management style that they all play the same way and everything like that, I'd get rid of everyone on the coaching staff. That's Matty Wells, Yedniak, and Ryan Mason. I'd release all of them because they've just not been good enough. I'd give it to the under 23 coaches to the end of the season. That'd probably be my thing now because you can't do. I reckon if you look at the under 21 results, yeah, they're up and down like a yo-yo, but they seem to. If you watch them play, they seem to be coached. If that makes some sort
Marlon,
of sense.
surely you can think of someone better than that.
It's
There
Spurs,
must
man.
be there must be someone better than that who can come in for the rest of the season, surely.
But, well, look, you can't really go. So look, the ideal candidate would be Allegri. But when I say he's the ideal candidate, he's the only one I could think of who's got the caliber. The only issue that I would say that Levy and the club can't employ him. They cannot employ him because it goes against everything they said in that first what do you call it? The fans forum they did when Ange first signed. We're going down this route. Our managers are going to be similar. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. Allegri is completely so far removed from that they can't go down that route anymore. They
What about
have to.
Turgic, the German.
Now, again, he's very different to Ange. I don't look. He's obviously been in the Premier League as assistant at West Ham, so it's not like he doesn't know the Premier League. But again, when Dortmund fans complained about how defensive he was, and it's a bit like, okay, look, I've not watched Dortmund enough, I've not watched his football, but when I remember West Ham with Payet, and he was the coach, and actually when he left is when Bilic kind of went downhill. But he probably is the candidate you go for, but I don't think for long term, I don't think he's the answer either.
Marlon, I want you to call this out now, right? Tell me
Yeah.
what is going to happen. Are you still
Oh,
sticking that Ange is going to be here to the end of the season? Are you really
I
sticking with that? Because I
I
just don't think he will.
I think he will be. I really think he will be. I
Even
think
if we
the
keep
club,
losing games.
even if we keep losing games, because I think they're gonna, and I will repeat what Sava said earlier, is that everyone has gotten and said they don't think Spurs will get relegated because he'll win enough games to not put us in that situation. We're not going to get European football. We're so far removed from it. So the only thing left will be the Europa League, and then he'll probably get till we're out of the Europa League.
Now, how many games you got left?
What are we on now? 1 second. Let me just work that out. 14 games left.
Okay, so how many of them we losing?
So you've got Liverpool away. That's definitely one. Should we go through the fixtures while you're still here?
Let's just do it.
Let's
Yeah,
go through them. Okay. So Man United at home.
Okay.
Win or lose?
We may get that one, yeah, because they're terrible.
Okay. Ipswich away.
I don't think we'll win that.
I don't think we'll lose. So I'm with you. I've got a feeling that'll be a draw. I don't think we'll lose
We don't
it though.
do many draws, do we? Though we don't do many draws.
That would be the one that'd be a draw. So and do you know what? Everyone in the chat, get involved in this. While I'm going through them, let's see if anyone thinks we're going to lose. Manchester City at home.
No, lose.
I think we win that.
Okay.
I think if we don't get a result against the next two, we'll beat Manchester City.
Nah, no chance.
No one thought we were going to go to the Etihad and do what we did. All right, then it's Bournemouth at home.
No, they'll beat us.
Okay, so that's 2 losses now you've got. Fulham at home, Fulham away. I think that's a loss.
The loss, yeah.
Yeah. Chelsea away, that's guaranteed. So let's not even talk about it.
What we
Southampton.
On now? 3 losses, 3 more losses. That's down to 16 now.
We're at 4.
Yeah.
We're at 4. We're at 4.
16,
Yeah.
17.
So Southampton at home.
Yeah, we should be able to do that one.
Okay, so the only thing that falls into this next team that we're playing is that we do play Southampton the week before, and it's Wolves away. And I know we haven't done well at Molineux for the last 2 years, but for me it depends on what situation. Yeah, it depends on what situation. Yeah. But I'm not going to put us down for a loss to that.
We drew it at home against.
We drew at home. Yeah, we drew at home. Yeah.
Forest at home. Maybe a point.
Yeah, Forest at home.
Tough. Could lose
Liverpool. That. Yeah. So yeah, we'll go. We won't put it as a guaranteed loss.
What I'm trying to get to, Marlon, is that how many defeats that is now, and how can he still be in the job with that amount of defeats?
Well, let's take it. Let's take this. So say he loses to Liverpool, that'd be 5. West Ham away because we're terrible away. We'll take that 6. Palace at home, I say we'll beat. Villa away, depends how we do Sunday, and Brighton at home. So let's say it guaranteed another 6 defeats. So that will take us to 19 for the season.
Yeah, that is shocking. That is shockingly bad. Any manager can't survive that. Even if he gets to the end of the season, he's gone.
He'll be gone. Yeah, he'll be gone.
Yeah, this is why I think if Levy has got any common sense, we got that Europa League, get another manager, give him that competition, and give him something to play for. Because there's nothing we're doing in the league now. We're not even going to get into the European positions. So
no, we're so far
the
away
league
from
is
that
done.
as well.
All it is now is picking up a few wins just to get as far away from that relegation zone as possible. So this is why I'm just looking forward to that date when he goes, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later.
You know full well they're not going to give you a manager you want now.
Anyone, not Mason. I don't fancy the under 23 coach either. So it'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting to see you using that bag out. But Dan, I'm gonna let you go because I don't want to take up your. And hopefully you got some things off your chest. I know you always do. But no, thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries, man. Good to see you, man. Take care of yourself.
Speak soon, mate. See you later.
Take care. Bye bye.
Let me bring on the next guest. Just say, look, there's There's room after has. If anybody wants to join, link is pinned to the chat. If anyone wants to come on, get anything off their chest, whether they feel like Ange shouldn't go, it's the board, if anything like that. Let's get. So, Mr. Mona, how are you?
Mr. Mona.
Yeah.
I warned you all about him. That's all I'm going to say. Well, let's start first of all with yesterday. Another shit performance. I'm not saying I'm not surprised.
Who's that on though? Who's that on?
Everyone.
Yeah, but is that fully on Ange, or is it that this one actually is a collective? Because the players should not need any motivation for a semi-final.
Well, the problem is all our signings predominantly last summer and even in January, really, because me and Eugene were talking about this on my channel earlier this evening. Actually, they're all young. They're all young. They're all young players. Yeah, they're all young players, right? So we signed 3 or 4 youngsters in the summer and one senior player in Solanke, and obviously a dud in Werner. I mean, I don't know why he's still here. And then this January we signed Tell, who's 19, Kinski, who's 21, and we signed Danso, who I guess he's a senior player. I mean, he started the game.
But he was being linked with Wolves.
Right?
He was being linked with Wolves, which is the only thing that really scares me.
But what I'm trying to say is, these are not the situation we're in. Because I'm just going to be brutally honest. I still think we're in the relegation battle. Because I've seen better teams and better Spurs sides drop 10 points in the league in better seasons. With I mean, we all know that. That 10-pointer we had over Arsenal how many times in those 2010 years, and we bottled them all with better players and better managers. So for me, 10 points is not for me. It's not enough of a cushion. I want that magic 40 or close to at least to be comfortable.
But you say that. That's just quickly throw on that. You say obviously when we've had worse sides, but obviously Arsenal catching us. The difference is though we're having Leicester and Wolves catch us. They're a different kettle of fish to Arsenal and the other teams.
For me, argue, I when I was growing up watching Spurs, I used to go in the late 90s and late 2000s, born 92, so I still remember the crap I had to watch, This is worse. I'm being honest, this is worse. I feel like I've been thrown back 20 years in the space of 20 months, let's say.
So for me, I'm just going to quickly throw this out there. So for me, I think if you win 10 games this season, you won't get relegated. So there's 14 games left. Okay.
Yeah.
So would you agree with that? There's 10 games and you won't get relegated.
What do you mean?
If you win 10 games in this season, I don't think you'll get relegated.
Problem is, is we have Ipswich away, for example, as a 6-pointer. We've got Wolves away as well. If we were to lose both those games.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm saying that, is that we've won 8 already. If we win an extra 2, that leaves us on 33 points at least. Okay.
Yeah.
So just throwing hypotheticals out here, right? So there's 14 games left of the season, right? For Leicester, to even get to win 10 games, right? They have to win another 6. They have to find 6 wins out of the next 14. Realistically, the way Leicester are playing, I'm going to be honest, I don't see it. Ipswich, let's take Ipswich, who have had many draws, by the way. For them, in the next 14 games to get 10 wins, they have to win 7. They have to win half their games from now.
Wait, how many are they on?
So they're on 16.
But then what I'm saying is the 10-goal swing can happen in 4 games, 4, 5, 6 games. It doesn't have to happen in the space of 10 games.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I'm looking at it going, they'd have to win. If I'm going win 10 games, and you're pretty much staying up because West Ham have won 7, Everton have won 6, Wolves have won 5. And the reason why I'm using the 10 game, look, I could be, I'm taking draws out of it for now. I'm taking draws out. So if I'm looking at it and I'm going for Ipswich and Leicester to realistically catch us, they're going to have to win 10 games.
Oh, I'm just laughing at Elijah's comment.
Right. So for Leicester, for 14 games left, right? So Leicester have to win another 6, right? Which is realistic. They probably could. I'm not saying they couldn't. But Ipswich have to win 7. They have to win half their games from now. Half. And Southampton have to win 8.
Don't forget Southampton. They're not even worth talking about.
Yeah. So Ipswich and Leicester have to win literally. So out of all of it, Leicester and Wolves have to win an extra 5. So I know you're saying we're in a relegation battle, but I think it's unrealistic to say. I think we're 2 games away, and we've got Southampton to play at home, which I think is a guaranteed win.
And we have to win that game. If we don't win that game, I don't even know
we're crap. But we will win another. Manchester City at home. Say we won those two. Those are the two ones we'd look at and go, would win. And the reason why I'm saying Manchester City, people, it's not like I'm guaranteeing it. It's just that we just do very well against Manchester City, no matter what situation we're in.
I gave us, so me and Eugene, we looked at the next 4 games. No, sorry, and Elijah, of course, and TJ, because someone in my chat wrote, how many points do you think we get in the next 4 or 5 games or something it was? I can't remember what it was.
Yep.
I only count like 2 points.
So you Manchester United, why you're here?
I thought we drew to United.
Okay, Ipswich away.
I think we'll lose to Ipswich.
City at home.
I don't have a feeling we're going to lose that game because I just don't think we're going to win that game.
And Bournemouth at home.
Oh, we're definitely losing that one.
For me, it depends who's back.
No, forget it, man. Bournemouth are like levels above us this year. Like,
but they did look. They might be levels above us, in the sense of they're playing well. But there's going to come a point they're going to come unstuck. You know it is. It
I just don't think it'll be against us though. Really, come on, let's be realistic.
It's going to be in March. I don't know. I don't think we'll beat Fulham. I personally
no. Fulham we were going to lose that game.
But say we had Romero back, I'm a bit more confident, and Vicario back if.
But then we had the players like Marlon, and we lost away to Palace, and we lost the home.
But we won't. Yeah, but we won't have Thursday night football.
We won't have Thursday night football because in March we will. What are you talking about? In March it comes back, doesn't it?
But I don't. Yeah, but it does come back in March, but not for that game. I think we skip it, just not for that game. So it'd be later.
I don't know. The problem with us, right, is Ange could even though I want him to go on right now, and I wanted him gone a year ago, probably to today, because I said last February I wanted him gone. He could string 3 or 4 wins out of these last 15 games. He can string them out of just pure luck or pure just luck or just the fact the other team's so bad.
Hold on. Just want to answer. There's actually 14 games left because everyone's played 24 apart from Liverpool and Everton, who have got 15 because they've got to play each other next week.
Oh, is it next week? Is it midweek next week?
Yeah, next week. Liverpool and Everton play each other next week.
Oh, that should be interesting.
That should be interesting. That's at Everton. It's the last game at Goodison. It's the rearranged game.
Oh, they're going to win that probably.
Yeah. So Steve 24/7. Yeah, there are 14 games left. Unless my maths is completely wrong, there are 14 games left.
What I'm saying is you could, and this is why I think if they don't pull the trigger on Sunday, they won't pull the trigger for the rest of the season, I think.
So answering this question here from Guernsey Spurs Glenn, he's gone, Marlon and Has, you think we'll lose to Villa in a bad way? Does Levy pull the trigger? Well, we lost to Liverpool in a bad way, so...
I actually think the Villa one is, because a lot of people that I speak to who actually, Ange and the few I speak to, I guess, they're very I still want to give him the cuts, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of them are if he loses on Sunday... they don't really have a leg to stand on, right?
It doesn't everyone doesn't have a leg to stand on anymore.
I know, but I still speak to people who, surprisingly, who still defend Ange. Maybe it's because of X, but what I'm saying is, they'll say, if we lose to Villa, then we gave him the 2 cup games that we wanted to give him, let's say, and he failed them. Will our fan base suddenly lose their heads finally after a year later than they should have? And finally turn on this manager, because if they do, I think if they do, he will pull the trigger.
You know what?
The problem is this guy is how many more excuses can people think about keeping this guy? I don't know, but I've come to the point where someone will find something on Sunday night. We'll give him Europa League.
You know what? I'll say this.
This is
I will keep him, right, and I don't care how bad the results get, right. I'll keep him. Because it's going to keep the attention on
Levy.
You know who, and it has done. I think you can even clearly see that. I think I said this to you a while ago, and because you were big Ange out, and I said no, wait, because he's going to be the guy that gets everyone to turn, because so many people defend him, and it's true. Like you just said, so many people defend him that people are going to start looking at.
X telling me we still have a chance to win the Europa League.
We do. But
let's be realistic, man. And he goes to me once we have all our players back. So I spent an hour, well, not an hour, but arguing with this guy, telling him we were never going to have all our players back, because as soon as one player comes back,
it's another one goes out. And the question I always ask to people, and this is the biggest question you have to ask to someone who's very Angean at the moment, and this is where I've lost my trust with Ange a little bit. We got injuries in season 1. Guaranteed, we had injuries, Van der Ven and all that, and everyone used the same excuse. Injuries, wait till he gets his players back, and this, that, and the other. We had totally adverse effect, but doesn't matter. So we've had injuries again this year, and the same things happened. So we don't know if the players come back, whether it's the results are going to change or not. If say they do, okay, but that's 2 seasons in a row. So what's going to happen next season?
My problem with the injuries is not, injuries are just part of the game, right? But he doesn't. There's 2 things I don't like. He doesn't adjust the team to the injuries. Like, say Van der Ven's out, he's been out for a long time,
He did yesterday in the first half.
and then he doesn't like drop the line a bit. I'm not saying you have to completely drop the high line completely, but like drop the line a bit backwards. Change, not make players like Gray and Dragusin. Dragusin clearly can't play out the back. Play out the back. I'm not saying you have to completely change everything. Just do a few tweaks. Or like that's just one example. Or,
for me, no, I agree with you. Just to agree with you on this, I do agree with you because he didn't have to change his whole system yesterday because just to go really defensive because he still needs. At the end of the day, we still need Ange ball, but we just need tweaks to it, and I think that's the point that we're all making. He didn't need to go totally the opposite direction.
But I think the problem is, and I'm siding with Dan Nee at this point, I just don't think he knows how to play football in any other way now. Because when I see him try and do something different, like the 3-4-3 away to Everton, which was an absolute car crash, last night when he tried to be, I don't know if he tried to be more pragmatic or it just happened to be like...
that is a great question.
Yeah.
That is a great question. He's counteracted well. But even though we still had injuries last season with 1 game a week. But I know we're guaranteed.
Yeah.
But
what I'm saying is, like, when he's tried to do something against his ball, like on purpose, I mean, not the whole when we went away and they pushed us back sort of thing, but when he tried to do something like the 3-4-3, it just didn't work. Like, either they were not coached well enough in the week and drilled enough by him or the coaches that we have, which are clearly not good enough anyway, or that he's not even giving them any instructions off the bench, which is clear to see. And the reason I point this to Ange is that the fact we have so many young players. So for me, without a leader on the pitch, it's down to your manager to assess what's going on the pitch and direct the players more because they're younger players, right? They're inexperienced. It's kind of logical thinking, isn't it? But I just don't see him doing anything like that. So it's like, well, it's just a car crash. So it's like you have a manager who's not directing players who are not good enough in anyway. But then he says the players are his. So then you can't say the players are not his. And then, because like this window that happened in the summer, and I sided with Sava and Stell on this, I had so many people telling me, oh, this player's amazing. This player's amazing. Then it gets to like 6 months later, and they're like, well, he was never backed. I'm like, hold on. And don't get me wrong, I agree with them at the beginning. Well, I was one of the people saying he wasn't backed in summer anyway. Like,
you were.
But like, even though I don't even like him, that's why I don't even like him. He wasn't back. But at the same time, you could argue, well, with the players he's got, I think he should be doing a lot better. I'm not saying we should be like top of the league, but like
I agree with you in that sense. I think we've got a top 10 side.
Yeah.
With the injuries as well, I think we've got a top 10 side.
I'm not saying we should be like champions or like
even, and that was even with Fraser Forster in goal. I still believe Fraser Forster. How many times did Fraser Forster save us this season? He's not a great goalkeeper, but he saved us so many times. What did I want to ask you? There was something I was going to go ask you. Oh yeah. So, do you think for you, because you've mentioned Ange a lot, do you think he's the biggest problem right now at Spurs, or do you think the players are, or actually, you said the players are not? It's more Ange. But is it the board that are the bigger issue, or is it Ange the bigger issue right now?
Okay, so right now it is the manager because I think in the situation we're in, I think if we had a more, and I hate to say this, a more mentally strong manager, a more tactically astute manager. I'm not saying we needed like a top manager. Like, I don't know if they were going to come to Spurs ever again, but like some just competent, like maybe would be a way to get out of this situation. I'm not saying we'll come out, 5-star, but like to get out of this bad situation we're in comfortably at least. But for now, I just feel like we're still kind of in jeopardy.
So the question, because you've mentioned tactics like quite a few times. So Benny's asked the question here, and I think I get what he's getting at, so I'm going to ask you this because you mentioned something else when you were saying about Ange. So a genuine question, if you don't mind. Some of the crazy Ange tactics, sometimes I feel like somebody else is calling the shots, telling Ange, do this, do that. Do you think anyone is doing that? Like Matty Wells or Jedniak?
I think that overarching style, I think him, Ange. But then I look on the touchline, because Ange doesn't really do much on the touchline.
Yeah.
And I think within the game, because we call for Ange to do it in game management, right?
Yeah.
And I still think he was doing a hell of a lot more than he's doing because he's not doing anything. But I do see more like Mason, Wells, I don't know, maybe one of the other ones, or Jedinak, say, on the set pieces, doing more like in-game stuff than him. But these coaches, as I just said, they're just not. They're not good enough. They're not qualified. They're not for an elite club.
Yeah, and that's I think the coaches are a bigger problem than Ange. Me personally.
The problem is he took these coaches, like Jedinak's his guy.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Mason,
I know he took them.
Didn't he say like every club he goes to, he wants to do like a challenge and do like a new setup or something?
Yeah, he does. You're correct, he does, and I think that's bitten him in the bum now. He does. He changes his coaches at every club, and I think, and I've said that's the wrong thing to do because you're then starting from scratch every time you go to a new club, and unfortunately in the Premier League it's a bit more demanding, and that's why Conte, Slot, and Mourinho, they bring their own coaching stuff for a reason. Poch done it. And
even
that's why they've been more,
like Joe Jordan, Kevin Bond.
But this is why they're more successful with it. Because I don't think Villas-Boas brought his whole team. Nuno wanted to, but got told no. But he felt the job at Tottenham was bigger than his coaches. He learnt the hard way. Took them all to Forest. Now look.
Was it because Levy wouldn't pay for them, or
Levy wouldn't pay for them? Yeah, he wouldn't bring them out.
But, looking back on Nuno, in sense of hindsight, I think. Don't get me wrong. I don't think in the end it would have worked out anyway. I just don't think he has, the name and the. I don't think it would. But I do think it was dealt a bad hand. Sort of.
He was dealt, and you got to remember he was dealt with Harry Kane not wanting to play. He wanted to
go
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you could change, since you do want to change the manager, you must have done some research of who you want to bring in, realistic person that you think will cut well, that you think Spurs would have to go for right now in this current situation, and then I want your dream target.
My dream,
yeah. Who would be your dream target right now? Who do you think could come and do the job?
So I think I'm with the route with Dan, and I said this on We Are Tottenham TV when I went on like a month ago before the relegation jeopardy started happening. I would bring someone like Rafa Benitez right now for 6 months.
For now, yeah, for Rafa Benitez.
6 months, and then in the summer, I think we need to go for someone like. I don't know. Iriola's the name everyone says, or Marco Silva, but I don't think Marco Silva is like good enough long term to like be good enough for us. Like he's a good manager, but I just don't think he's a right fit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just think he'll be almost too simple. I don't know how to say it. Like, as in, I just don't think he has enough in his locker to take us to where we want to be. Iriola obviously has had this amazing season at Bournemouth, and he's done great with the resources he has, which are very limited. Which is why I think a lot of people are picking him. And he's a good choice. I think it's a great choice. I mean, Gasperini was one I really like. But again, I'm more inclined to go for someone who at least has some Premier League experience. So Iriola probably is the better choice. But I think part of the issue, in my opinion, with the whole fan base, I'm not saying for other things. As I said last week on my show, we'll talk about other things. But like, we all want to relive, well, not me personally, but most of our families want to relive the times under Poch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they want to relive the attacking football.
Yeah, that's been taken away from us. That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
A lot of people peed off at that time.
Something better. I know it's not this way. We're trying to relive the past. So every manager comes in and they want to get an attacking manager because, like, I don't understand the Ange Poch comparison. Like, I think it's crazy. Like, they're not similar at all. Like,
no, not similar.
But everyone wants to say, "Oh, he's like Poch because he plays attacking football."
No,
like we want to recreate something that's already gone.
Yeah,
and which is why I said Poch coming back is going to be like, I think Levy's saving grace. Maybe he'll try and make a play for him. I don't know. I wouldn't surprise me if he makes a play for him and tries to make some, to save the fan base. But like, so what I'm saying is we need to try and create something completely different. Like that's better because even under Poch we didn't win anything. He was a great manager, and he wasn't backed.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, but I think right now it's not about the trophies, is it? It's about
no. I'm saying everyone wants to recreate Poch. I'm just saying that I think that's part of the issue with our fan base, and so they want to recreate something like the same feeling, the same, but you're not going to just get over your ex. I don't know. I take Poch right now because I want Ange to go, but if I'm being serious, it's not. It's not the solution on him. I don't think.
Thank you. Been a while, mate. Been a while, but thank you.
I know.
Got it all off your chest. Have you got it all off your chest back in the spirit. That's all this was for, a therapy session. Me and you therapy session, talking it out, man. All good. But no, it's been a while. We'll have to do this again. But yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, take
See you
it,
later.
man.
Oh, don't forget to promote Has Spurs TV before I bring on the next one. Go on, promote it. You're here.
Yeah. Please go subscribe to Hotspur TV. Yeah, if you want to get offended, please go and subscribe to my channel. Because me, TJ, and Elijah now like sort of with my with my channel like every Friday now. And Eugene's like on and off. Yeah, so a good group on there on a Friday night. Like we start at 5:30 now. It's not 7 o'clock. Because Elijah needs sometimes to go other places, and yeah, we just talk about anything really, not just about Tottenham. I mean, last week we spent an hour talking about girls for the first hour. So, you guys want something non-Tottenham related
That's TJ
about
for you.
TJ's love life? Please go subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a wild show in it sometimes, but yeah, please go subscribe. And I do post-match videos. I didn't do one this morning because I just felt so down. I just couldn't really get myself up for it. It's another loss.
Look, you can do it tomorrow now. You've had the therapy session. Nah, cheers, Has. Cheers, Has.
Okay, thanks, man. Take care.
Yeah, no problem. Let me see if I can replace it with the next person. Yo, bro. One. Let me just get something off my chest. Why have you come in as a guest and not logged in?
Well, you said come on if you want, so I was like, right, let me just come on as a guest. This ain't my team, this is your shit,
Bro. Yeah?
This is your thing, man.
You are a king, right? You are a king, yeah? You come in the same way as all of us. And do you know what? To be fair, I should have explained it to you where to get there. Listen, I should have explained it. You have to go through we got a recording section. I put the studio there for this.
No, I come in as an ordinary fan, bro. This is your baby right now, and I'm here to say like, well done. I like the format.
Do you know what it was, Ash? It was me and you yesterday. It was me and you yesterday, and I've been watching all the podcasts today, and I just feel like everyone is in the same place. And I thought, I need to go on and talk to people. I need to get it off my chest. They need to get it off their chest. People in the chat need to get it off their chest. Let's just talk it out for an hour. I saw that there was a space now, and I thought, I've got an hour and a bit. Kids are out. There's some at sleepovers. Wife is in bed. She's like, she don't want to speak to me either because she knows I'm in a bad mood. So
I hear it, man.
I thought I'd come on and just do this for a bit.
You know what?
I saw you was on Last Word, so I thought I won't tell him. I'll give him a break.
Yeah. No, you know what it is? It's mad. It's like everyone does this whole negative, positive thing, right?
Yeah.
But the truth of it is, the negative people don't think they're negative. They think they're just talking their truth.
Yeah.
And the positive people don't think they're positive. They're just talking their truth. Pretty much is what it comes down to, innit? That's where their opinions differ. But I think people will add an insult or add something else, and that's where the vibe becomes apparent. Do you know what I'm saying? So the positive people think Ange can turn it around, and there's evidence. There's no evidence to say that he can't turn it around. Equally, there's evidence to say, if you look at the past fixtures on the negative side, so-called negative, whatever you want to call it,
or facts. Facts. Some of them they'll say facts.
Yeah. They were also right, because if you look
they are right.
Last season, and then you look at what's happening right now, the evidence is in your face. Yeah. So what's there to discuss? Do you know what I mean?
True.
And like when I was on the show, people in the comments on Last Word, people were like, I think Dave said something like, sorry, like if I'm talking so like negatively about my club, and then someone in the comments was like, don't talk negative then. Do you know what I mean? But it's like if there's a fire in the house, do you know what I mean? I might gonna sit there and be like, oh, the fire's burning, but it'll be all right. It'll eventually calm down. The fire will calm down. Yeah. And I don't need to open the windows up, or I don't need to escape out the burning house. Do you understand? Something's going wrong. I can see it's going wrong, and this is how I see it. But there's no right or wrong. It's just football opinion. Like at the end of the
And
day, you know what I'm
and
saying?
this is the thing, yeah, no, and this is the thing. Because obviously I was listening to you lot afterwards, and I decided to do the show about 4 o'clock this afternoon. But I listened to Sava today because I'm always tuning in for Sava. I watched Jim and Kate as well. I tune in for that while I'm working. I just have it all on the background. I
Yeah,
caught up on Last Word on Spurs from last night as well, and the theme was no matter what side everyone sat on, everyone was just really disappointed and felt exactly the same. And that's the bit that I kind of wanted to get out of people. Let's just get it off your chest now. Just speak your truth. I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong or right. I'm going to ask you questions, get it out. But I just want to hear how everyone else is feeling. Let's just spit it out there. Let's put it out there and see what other people think, because someone might disagree with you, but that's how you're feeling. They can't disagree. They can't go against what you're feeling right now.
I came on Last Word on Spurs, and I said this, the club are in a bit of a pickle because,
Yeah.
and people will disagree with me because I'm kind of say it from a conspiracy angle, but I think there is some basis to my conspiracy, and the fact that Ange went over and did a lot of these deals, I think he should be working in recruitment. But jokes aside, jokes aside, bro, like if those players have come because of him, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden he's sacked, then like I can understand why tell rumors. I know it's rumors, but he's looking across at Man United and thinking, I might want to go there. Or obviously he said he'll make his decision, but he wants to be a Bayern legend. Make of that what you will. Do you understand? But the fact that regardless of what was happening, Ange's got on the phone, according to the press, whether it's PR or not, do you know what I'm
Not,
saying?
yeah.
Like, because some people be like, oh, look, the club are trying to, mask up. Just like the Mickey van der Ven fit situation. 1 minute he's playing, the next minute, oh, we're going for such and such, Mark Way, or we're going for this centre back. You know what I'm saying? Like a big rush. And then all of a sudden, he's not played 2 games since then. Do you know what I mean? So it's like conspiracy, or are they hiding things? Are they trying to mask over things? You see what I'm trying to say? So, and then like you've already spoken on the Spence situation, how played left back, right wing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you
Left
know how
out.
many people? Yeah. Do you know how many people have since? Did I say it yesterday? It was yesterday. I said it when we were watching
Yeah,
along. You know how
yeah,
many people have jumped on now? I didn't
yeah,
realize how many people have asked me, because I saw it in the comments as well, and I think Jordan asked it in the chat as well. What did I mean by that? And I've explained it, but it's not to say it's just an opinion. It's what I'm looking at, and I don't know if I'm right or not. But as I said to Elijah before he went off, we will see when everyone's fit what he does with Spence to see if is he trying to go, I got it wrong. I need to
mm,
somehow make sure I'm pushing him back out eventually so it looks like I'm right.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't
But
know.
it's a hard
Go on,
one
carry on.
because now, remember, you were saying Archie Gray was brought as a right back, not as a 6, and he's
Mhm.
played everywhere but a 6, and
Mhm.
like that is the elephant in the room at the moment because. If Archie Gray persists now, if he persists now, you've bought a centre back and you've tried to buy another centre back. So now you're saying, actually, no, Archie Gray is not a centre back. We're not going to be. Everybody knows he's not a centre back. He's definitely not a left back,
Because he could
right?
have played there yesterday.
But yeah, he did play left back yesterday. But I'm
Yeah,
saying
but he could have played centre. He could have played DM yesterday. He didn't need to
this is
play
what
Saar.
this is what Sky Sports are saying. Like, you know, with the commentary, they were saying, "Oh, like, oh, Archie Gray finally gets to play 6. Oh, wait a minute, nope, he's playing
No.
left back." You know what I mean? Even we said it when we were doing the watch along.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny still. And then it was like, all right, cool. Tell's come on. And when Tell came on, I don't know if you noticed, but he was running in a lot of the positions that Son was running in. So I was like, bro, who's playing left wing? Is it Son or Tell? Like, I couldn't even tell. Imagine that. No pun
Dudumch.
it's crazy, isn't it? And then
Yeah.
there was people saying, raw, Tell shouting at everyone, saying, push up the pitch. What are you doing? Rear tear, tear. Squeeze the pitch, blah, blah, blah. And that kind of feeds into the narrative then. And just saying, raw, I didn't tell them not to do that. Like, they did it by themselves. But at the same time, it's either the players have lost their confidence in the game and they realize that, raw, we're just not up to the level. Like, Liverpool are pressing us and we can't live with it. And they're forcing us back. Or, and I said this, Ange, if you're picking a squad, you must know the profiles of your players or the characteristics and the
That's
behaviors
dimensions, yeah.
and how they perform with the ball and how they behave without the ball. Because if you know you've got a Bentancur and you've got a Basuma and you've got a Sarr, those characteristics off the ball and on the ball, they might be very similar. So
Yeah.
where is the creativity coming from? That's still the question's still there. Do you know what I'm saying? And we spoke about Porro when he didn't play right back. All right, cool. Where's the creativity coming from? Because one fullback's more like overlapping or underlapping, and the other fullback kind of sits back and then he creates from deep, whatnot. Do you understand? So there was so many questions where people were saying, "Oh, it's the players," like you said. But then I'm like, but Ange knows the team, and he picked that team, and of course they're going to sit back. Of course they're going to behave in a certain way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When he brought on Kulusevski into midfield at the same time when he brought on Bergvall, then that's leaving Bentancur by himself, exposed. Do you understand? So then it's like, bro, the tactical nous and knowledge there. Then going on to injuries, because everyone's saying like the injuries, that's the reason why. Like I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him. Did people feel sorry for Bielsa when he was in his crisis? That's what I want to know.
You know, that's a very good question. I think everyone did. No one did. I think the same questions were being asked of him.
I think questions were being asked. Obviously,
I think Jamie Carragher seems to come in my head, and I don't know why.
But when you're in it, bro, when you're in it, it's like anything. When you're in it, you can't see outside perspective. Do you understand? And from an inside point of view, you feel sorry for him. You're like, well, he hasn't got his goalkeeper, he hasn't got his 2 centre backs, he's lost his striker. Like, what more can you do? And because we're a bigger club, maybe other fans might look upon us and then they might say, rah, you know what, they are unlucky. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Leeds, they are a big club, but in terms of like commercial and fan base, how many eyes are on them, London-based club, they're not going to be having the same amount of light and same amount of attention on them. Am I making sense? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they just came from the Championship. Everyone kind of expects them to go back down.
You have to put that context into it as well. Do you know what I'm saying? But they, like Beyonce. They called it murder ball, bro. That's what they called it. Bielsa was called murder ball, and it was Jesse. Jesse came out, the assistant coach, and he said, "Brother, he's killing them." Like, and what he did is similar to Ange, like in terms of like the coaching. When they're in the training sessions, what they do is they throw the ball onto the pitch and they play 90-minute games and they try to simulate what's happening in real life in the actual pitch. And I remember reading about that. Go on, Marlon, go on.
No, you're right. Because if you watch the Amazon documentary on Leeds, because it's the first year they had Bielsa.
Yeah.
Go and watch that documentary on Amazon. You'll actually see that what you're exactly saying is spot on, is correct. He used to play these full games and they used to do it in the middle of the season and whatnot, because he was saying you need to play like every single game as a game.
And I'm not saying Ange is doing that now.
And they had injuries,
because they have like, they're not training at the moment because they got games every 3 games. I think that's the difference. Yeah. But what he did last season is what Bielsa did like when he was in charge. You know what I'm saying? So there's no surprise that we're seeing hamstrings reoccurring. And like I feel sorry for Mickey, because Mickey, like, if some people are saying, well, we'll have to wait and see, but as it looks at the moment, and as to this conspiracy, he's done, bro. His hamstrings are done. I wonder how he feels mentally, because you know when your hamstring first goes and you want to do a full sprint, you don't really quite trust your body. It's like a Reece James thing. Reece James in and out of that surgery room. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a techie one. It's a techie one, and like you said before, that's the reason why they were going ham in the transfer window, because they knew actually we messed up. If we come out now after all this PR, remember people were pointing out this, pointing out that, it's going to look bad on Ange. But people say like, if you want to get rid of Ange, who'd you bring in? Ask the same people are saying Levy out. Ask them the same question. If you want Levy out, then who should you bring in? Because that's the same thing that man used to say. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't make no sense. Or if you want Levy out, you got to look for a chairman then, or you got to look for a board that's going to do the same thing. And like, who's to say they won't be worse? It's the same narrative they're saying about the manager, bruv. But they can't see it.
But no, it's true. You know what? It's so true. Like for you right now, because I've been asking everyone this question. Yeah. Where is the biggest problem right now within the club? Like, is it the players? Is it the manager? And when I'm including the manager, the coaches as well with that, or is it the board? If you had to change one thing now, if I gave you one of the 3 to change, all right, and you have control over what you change.
Oh, the coaches. You're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Medelek or Yedelek, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
him. That Ek, yeah. He was the coach for the under-17s, bro. Academy for Aston Villa. Yeah. So it's like we've got what's his face? Langer, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Even himself, his first big job was Aston Villa, bro. Really? If you really think about it, first big Premiership job was that. You know what I mean? We can't really say Copenhagen was a big job for him. Do you know what I mean? It was a job. Don't get it twisted, and I don't want to disrespect that league, but Premier League's the next step up. So Copenhagen into Aston Villa. Aston Villa was his first big job, and he got demoted from where he was because his specialities, he hadn't really built up the contacts. Obviously, he's got the Nordic contacts because that's where he's from. But then in terms of like his actual ability to perform, what he specializes in is British, yeah, homegrown, and the youth, the academy. And so when Finn got brought in, then obviously Monchi's got all the contacts across Europe, and he was able to close deals. So what I'm saying is, if you're looking at Langer comes in, I'm saying, boom. When he goes across and Paratici comes back, he needs to just go underneath his wing. Do you know what I'm saying? And just learn under him and say, rah, and build up his contacts that way. Am I making sense? So
because you're looking at the Paratici spinning all the different plates. So
exactly.
If we're looking for a left winger, there'll be 3 left wingers. Yeah.
Yeah, Langer ain't got that. Let's be real. Langer ain't really got that. So that's part of the problem when you're trying to go over and close Moani. You're not able to close Moani. Like obviously Paratici being there, Paratici will be able to close Moani. He can't do it. He ain't got the skill set. He ain't got the actual knowledge how to close like that, like a big player, and a relationship with the agents. All of those things have to be baked in, my broski. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying because Paratici, I know Napoli won him, I know Roma won him. Do you know what I'm saying? I know a host of clubs are after him. So whether he decides to stay on, like the personalities are completely different. You know, like Langer's all timid and that. He's all shy and quiet. And in the boardroom, he ain't saying nothing. He's like, yes, sir. Yes, no, sir. Do you know what I mean? Whatever Levy tells him, he's going to do. Whereas Paratici will challenge Levy. He'll be in the boardroom shouting. You know, like how he was on the pitch on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And talking. You know what I mean?
So you raise a fucking great point, you know. And when you look at the characteristics, you can see that Levy's employed Lange because you can see that he can not necessarily bully him, but he's the authoritative person. Yeah. But where Paratici, you know what? Paratici probably tested him and he liked it, but didn't like it at the same time.
Questions and in that board, he'll pull man up. Remember, he's come from Juventus, you know.
Yeah,
and remember, he changed the academy. He's not coming from a little boy, and he knows he's got his contacts. He knows he was the one that got Conte in. Remember that he got those big boy managers in. He saw what was happening.
He wanted Conte. Yeah, he wanted Conte when he first came, but obviously he'd only just started the job, and Conte wanted to bring his coaches, and then I think Paratici went, look, this time I'm going to bring you Nuno. You see that not bringing these coaches what it done. You need to bring Conte and his coaches.
But it's mad. Like we go back to the coaches because I kind of went on a little rant there. But going back to
look. On a quick note, do you know what? Before carrying on, I got told there was a comment yesterday that it made me laugh, but it's because we worked together for so long. They keep saying I've got to stop interrupting you, and I was like, yeah, I do, but I know what he's going to say, right? So I'm giving him leeway, but he doesn't exactly the same thing to me.
Bro, no, it's all good.
No, bro, but we do it to each other. Like that's the thing. We do it to each other.
The dialogue's like,
and that's the thing.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's become part of us. Yeah, you got to be natural. So we
pulled up. It is what it is, bro.
We pull each other up, and that was the thing. Because obviously when we're on Tottenham TV, we have one host, one co-host.
Yeah.
Usually I'm the one generally asking the questions, but when we do Tuesday, it's me and you back and forth. You're usually asking me questions and cutting me, so. But for this is all you, bro. This is get everything off your chest.
Look, it's a thing where like there's multiple factors. It's not. I know. Box office. Big up box office. He hates when I say this. It's not black and white. It's not because it's not. It's
not.
There's hints of grey in there, man. And so it's remember, Levy employed Man. Man was like, yeah, I've got Ange. I've got this guy Ange. Remember, it's like all the other coaches. You're gonna save money. You're gonna save P. He's one of our cheapest coaches we've ever, or managers, shall I say, we've ever employed. Do you know what I'm saying? Coaching staff. He said, look, don't worry about coaching staff. You pick the coaching staff, and I'll work with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. Any player that comes in, I'll say it's on me. Do you know what I'm saying? So Right, it's a match made in heaven
Yeah,
or a disaster made in hell. Do you know what I'm saying? A recipe for hell. So either way you chop it up, with Langer involved as well, I understand now why it was like we're gonna do this whole project. You know what I mean?
that word.
Academy,
Yeah,
youth. Do you understand? Because that is Langer's skill set. Whilst my man's out the job, that's all we could work with. So they had to kind of sell it that way, if that makes sense, so that people can buy into it. Yeah, we've got, and then it reminds us back to the Poch days. Because remember, when we had Poch, that's what we did. We did the kids. Do you know what I'm saying? We went through the academy. So, and then we was attacking as well. So everything was marrying up, like, and people were just, feeding it, buying it. Makes sense. Yeah, like, rah, rah. We're going to see Archie Gray in the summer. He's like generational, rare tear, tear. We're going to see him play the six. Like, that's the position we needed. You watch. I remember I kept hearing people, you watch. Like, he's gonna be an England player. Watch, trust me.
yeah.
And we just haven't seen him in that six role up until now. And I'm not saying he can't come and do a thing at Spurs, but I just feel like we were being sold a dream, at least for this season. Long term, like, it's still debatable. Do you know what I mean? I remember when it was pre-season. Pre-season, it was bare kids, and they were doing the thing. They were doing the little 1-2 diamonds, triangles.
Archie Gray still weren't playing DM though, was he?
No, he still wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't. But do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, the whole
No, I do.
youth
No, I do.
project was even more like spun, even more heavily. And so, like, each when the window came to a close, all them men were gone. And the men that were left, we thought, all right, cool, maybe those guys weren't good enough and they will play. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No. Even like the other day now, we've seen Ajay, we've seen Scarlett come in, and we're like, right, you know what? We're probably going to see a bit more Ajay now, and like everyone's getting excited. You know what I'm saying?
You
I
won't see
don't
him again.
want to see him again, bro. I'll be real. As much as I wouldn't mind seeing him,
Scarlett will see,
we'll
but
see
we won't see.
a bit
Yeah,
of Scarlett. But
yeah.
it's mad. Like, it is what it is right now, and so that's why I'm saying to you, like, with Ange now, he's like, raw, I haven't got any tools. I can't look. I haven't really. And people are saying that as well. People are saying, he hasn't been backed. Do you know what I mean? So it's not his fault, because it's the ownership, the way, if he got the players he wanted. And like, to a degree, I hear it, only because I will say this. If you look at Conor Gallagher, even though we knew as a fan base, we don't do business with Chelsea. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
we do now apparently.
Yeah, well, yeah, we do now. But good players, good ones that they want, or ones that they
Yeah.
see as a threat.
Yeah.
There was no way Conor Gallagher was coming in. But Ange wanted that mold of player. Do you understand?
Yeah.
He wants that style of player. And it's still his first gig, in it. So he's not going to kick up a fuss and say, brother, you didn't give me Conor Gallagher. This board ready to tear. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna do that. So after that, obviously it was Langer's turn, isn't it? Or Lange, whatever you want to call him, his turn. I got a brother called Aaron Ramsey. I found him from, was it Birmingham he came from? I can't remember the club he came from. Birmingham,
Yeah.
Rex. One of them teams, innit? He got him from. And he was like, I found this guy. Let me bring in Ramsey, innit? Let me bring in Ramsey as a replacement, because Conor Gallagher's no longer there. Now, all of a sudden, Ramsey, that goes cold. All of a sudden, there's a statement. The players, the youngsters have impressed us so much that boom, 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 we're going to just put them forward. You get it? We're going to make them go. We're going to fast track them, and they're going to feature heavily into our first team. Not everyone, lots of people ate it up. Yeah, all right, cool. Archie Gray in the six. Wow, he wanted to go Barcelona. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, those summer times were good, man.
Man, it's under pressure. Remember? Hey,
Remember the hope.
remember? So that's how the PR was beautiful. Do you know what I mean? And now,
That
obviously, things aren't going too well, and everyone's like, wait a minute, hold on a second. You almost got us, Levy. People that weren't screaming Levy out, before. Them men there weren't screaming Levy out before, all of a sudden, them men are saying, raw, Ange ain't his fault. It's no Levy's fault now. Do you know what I mean? So it's and look, I'm not even mad at that. Feel how you want to feel, yeah, number one. Because listen, I'm part of it. I was there too, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was there too. I got suckered. I'll put my hands up. Like,
we all did.
That well, even like if we go further back down to the stadium, the game changing stadium, bro. The game changing stadium. Even down to the data led approach. Even I eat that up as well. Nom, nom, nom. Data led, yeah. We're doing it
I was
different.
saying, but I was saying to Elijah earlier, and I want to get your point on this, on the data led approach.
Go on.
Right, so let's take the scouting that you do. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
take our Tuesday show.
Yeah.
So you go and scout a player, you get data for it.
Bro, I know what you're gonna say. Go on. Land.
Right? Then so that's one defender. Remember we did like 2 or 3 defenders. I think we did. Actually, let's go back to the Van der Ven days. We had Van der Ven and Tapsoba. Do you remember?
Yes,
right?
that was a big debate. Yes.
The big debate on who we should get.
Yes.
Now, you gave us the data. Yeah, you gave me, and I think it was Haz at the time.
It was Haz.
Haz the data. You gave us both the data.
Yeah.
Okay. And there was different attributes between the two.
Correct.
However,
yeah,
me and Haz are going to have 2 totally different opinions.
Correct.
Because the data is going to be giving us 2 different answers on what we need. We don't know.
Wando.
Right? So you don't really know. And as Elijah said, that data's also got a plan for the future. You don't know how the game is going to change. Because let's take Alex Ferguson when he used to play 4-4-2. Mourinho comes in, changes it all, plays one up front. Ferguson adapts.
But this is the whole point. No matter who the manager is, the philosophy is meant to stay the same. It's meant to be the director of football that picks the manager. Do you understand? But we did it back to front. We brought the manager in first, and then we brought the director of football. Like, who does that? Only Spurs, innit? Only we do things backwards, bro. Do you understand? But like I said before, bro, like you're right, innit? Like 2 different interpretations, and a bag of players presented to Langer. He's like, no. I don't want that data. I want what's on this data. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he might be interpreting, give it to Levy. Levy's like, nah, I'm not convinced. You know what I mean? I'm not bringing that player to you.
Yeah, he's giving you the £40 million signing. And he's like, nah, I want the £30 million. Kind of scenario.
There's so much to this. Check this now, yeah? Langer now, I'm not trying to rate him, but imagine Langer, what a Cherokee, innit? Langer, what a Cherokee, yeah? The one that everyone's going mad. Last summer, Langer, what a Cherokee now. Yeah? So now watch this, boom. We go in for him, we're trying to do our investigations, but we know how Leon, the chairman, is, know how techie is. Because remember Ndembele, that was all techie as well to get that out of the waters. And that was a whole hassle. The chairman is just as bad as Levy in terms of negotiating. He said, I want a 30%, sell on. So if you sell Cherokee, we get 30% of those piece. Daniel was like, what? Are you mad? Huh? That's what I do. I don't get people to do it to me. Nah, bun that. We're not getting him. You know what I'm saying? So
Levy's 1-0 up, isn't he, with him? Because of the whole Ndobele deal. He's 1-0 up.
There you go. So can you imagine now? Imagine we could have had like I'm not trying to give Langer props, but I'm just saying, imagine he got his player like Aaron Ramsey in the midfield, someone that can press, young, 22, 23, or even 21, sorry. He's athletic, rare. So he's a bit more, he's got more of a goal threat than Pape Sarr. He's better at dribbling than Pape Sarr. He's better at taking his man on than Pape Sarr. He can finish better than Pape Sarr. Do you understand? Then you've got, all of a sudden, you've actually got a right winger that he can drift inside. So like what Kulusevski does. He comes in, but the difference between him and Kulusevski is Cherokee's with both feet can play with his left foot.
Yeah.
So
I've seen some of the clips.
His weakness is that his right foot. He doesn't want to come on his right foot, so he delays all the time. And certain times the pass is on, but because he don't want to use his right foot, he won't pass. Or the shot's on because he don't want to use his right foot. The shot's not on. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So like, there's so much that is techie, bro. Like I forgot my actual original point I was going to say about Langer because there's so much to unpack, bro. Like
and this is the thing. There is so much to unpack with it all. You look at everything. Like Paratici and Langer could be looking at the exact same fit, and they could come back with two different players with 2 different attributes.
Check this now. Check this. Paratici, he wanted Edison time ago before Edison was hot because he knew at Juventus they've been tracking him from time, and obviously Atalanta's their feeder club, innit? So he was like, listen, before he gets hot, trust me, get this brother in, Edison. I'm telling you, Levy, trust me. But like Daniel's like cautious, he's not risk averse. So all them that are backing Levy, like, oh, the financials, they're looking at the wrong things. Because like the FFP and the PSR and our salary, actually, if you look at our salaries compared to other clubs, we're not actually that bad. Actually, we're not actually doing that. Like, we're quite comparable to other clubs. Or when it comes to profit and sustainability, like, we spend the most. We actually spend a lot of money when it comes to transfer. Brother, you're missing the point. You're missing the amount of coaches that have come in and they said, raw, we could have had this brother here. But my man said, nah, don't want him. Nah, I don't. Like, man's just blocking our blessings. Literally blocking our blessings. Like you said, the tap sober thing now, that was down to money. 100% down to, because if you deep it now, if you think about it, tap sober doesn't rely on pace. Yeah. He wouldn't have had these many injuries. And with tap sober, remember, he's right-footed, but can play with his left foot, a bit like Danso. And the difference with him, he can play as a DM as well. And he can dribble out from the back. He can carry the ball. So that, I remember thinking, oh yeah, like Van der Ven looks good, but this taps over aerially as well, better than him. Like, getting the ball after. Remember the clips I was showing with taps over? Doing a Mazzy.
Taps over.
I was like, bro, I don't know, I think I might want taps over Becky Van der Ven. Do you know what I mean?
The fact he went unbeaten for the season just killed us.
This is it. There's other players, bro, that we just don't know about. Like, I could guarantee, bro, I reckon we've probably spoken to Nkapi. You know what I mean?
We did when Conte was here. He was before Longleg.
So see what I'm saying?
So he was meant to be the backup to Bastoni.
Well, it makes sense though. That's why we always do this stuff. I've never heard of a stopgap before this, bruv. I've never heard of a stopgap before this. All of a sudden, stopgap. Levy is known to do the loan thing in January. He don't want to spend P, brother. He just wants to do the loan thing in January. It's just loan. So this ain't nothing new. Do you get it? So, like, I'm thinking about it and actually deep in it now, because remember the Moani deal. And by the way, Moani is mashing up for all those people saying, I want Moani. Brother, I said, who are
That's
we?
George.
We're in right now.
Call him out.
But that comes down to the whole day argument. You know what I mean? He kind of did his agenda before he come on the show. And any little thing, I remember when I brought a little bit of data. See? Huh? Look at his data. But I let him land. Because me, I'm not a person that just relies on data. I look at how our brothers.
There's different it's different factors.
Like, I see that's why I put the YouTube clips up, because I'm like, there's one thing to have data, but there's another thing to see a man like spin a man. How does he take a man on? Is he doing something that no one else in the club is doing?
Well, when you look at Salah, you always got to look at Salah, De Bruyne. In that sense, they couldn't hold it up for Chelsea because Chelsea had a different style. They weren't attacking. They were very defensive. So they're not going to fit into the Mourinho system. Take them out and put them in an attacking system. The different players. Moani might have just not suited Paris because they were probably slightly different, a bit more rigid.
4 goals already at Juve. They want a permanent deal. They said they're ready to them. They said to PSG, they said, listen, whatever P you want, we pay it. It's all right. It's cool. We'll do it.
Yeah, suddenly you're going to have money.
His place in his power, the teams can't live with him. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. What I liked about him was he could get the ball from defence and turn it into attack. That's something that Johnson can't do. Do you understand? Something Son can't do. A brother that's the type of winger we need. A brother gets the ball, says, right, give it to me. Don't worry about it. I'll get the ball and I'll turn a man and I'll just tack. I'll go forward. Do you know what I mean? I've just got that mentality. Just give me the ball and I'll attack. And that pushes you up the pitch. That alleviates pressure. Do you understand? Like, when I'm watching that Liverpool game, I'm looking at it and I'm like, who is the outball? Who is the outball, bro? Like, it's mad. No wonder we're getting pinned in and peppered. Because when we got the ball, it just breaks down. We've got no one that can look after it. No one that's adventurous or said, look, don't worry, the responsibility is on me. Don't worry, I'm going to get us out of this mess. So you just need different characters, different personalities, different mentalities, and it's different pillars. There's people that when you first come, you're looking at, remember I talk about technical base. Technical base is one thing, like having like the physical attributes is another thing, because I look at Semenyo. Remember we did the little video on Semenyo, yeah? And it was me, Chef, and Jay, yeah? We were looking at it. And I was like, here he is at Bristol City, innit? Bristol FC, whatever. Look at him as a youngster. Look, running at man on the left. And those times he was playing on the right. Remember, summer, there was a clause in his contract, right? There was a clause in his contract. No, there wasn't even a clause. I forgot. There wasn't even a clause in the contract. They had to make him sign a clause in his contract because he signed a new one straight after that, which made him, I think it was a 40 million release contract. But we could have got him before that, we could have done negotiating. And even still, because we haven't got a man like a Semenyo that's got the shoulders, other than Kulu, that can go right or left and can shoot on their weaker foot. That's the difference. And can cross, get to the byline. And in between those pockets. Like Semenyo, if you watch him at Bournemouth, he lives in the pockets. Doesn't always stay out.
Yeah. You're right.
So that's exactly the profile of a player that Ange wants. Because I think what Ange wants as a front three, because everyone's like touchline wingers, we need touchline wingers. I think Ange wants goals from the free. Do you know what I'm saying?
He does, yeah.
He wants goals. He doesn't want a man to get to the byline and cut it back. That's why he's got the fullbacks that invert. Yes, they do invert, but sometimes when they get to the byline, when you've seen the doggy do it, get to the byline and do the cutback. Do you understand? So that's what I'm saying. Bro, like, I could go on forever, man. I don't know. I was going to say, like, I know you're going to ask, who would you rather have in? And I'm still in the same type of mindset. Because who are we to, like, turn our noses up at? Hey, Terzic, man. What's that talking about? Are you all right? Oh, I don't want Terzic. Is Ange doing any better right now? Huh? Wait, I just don't get it, bro. I just, like, because at least with Terzic, right? With Terzic, from what I'm reading up on, they were pissed off at him, some of the players, because he was pragmatic. Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
What, is that not what we needed, though? Like, at this moment where we're free falling, and people will be like, but Ash, we are pragmatic at the moment. No. What Terzic would do, he would look at the opposition, and then he'll be like, all right, today we're pragmatic. Oh, today we're more on the front foot. So he's adjusting according to the opposition. Mm-hmm. That's someone we need for the now. I'm not saying give him the full contract, but the brother's out of a job right now. So I'm saying, like, that might be able to turn it. But I do hear the other argument, as I said before, because a lot of those players came for Ange in it. But I'm at the point where I can't live and die on that hill. I can't live and die on that hill. Because we need to get up that table. Like, let's not get it twisted. We still got to attract people sometime. You know?
Yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah.
Remember, you said give them the cups. I said, Marlon, I'll be real. I don't think we're gonna win a cup, bro. I'll be real, and that's why I said, look, long term, I don't think it's it. You know what I mean? And I was just hoping.
Keep me while I'm down, yeah.
I'm still saying, I still don't think we'll win Europa. And I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. But the reason why I don't think we'll win Europa is tactically, he doesn't look at a team and just, you know what I'm saying?
Like if we got Lazio, like he'd have to do it tactically.
Lazio, yeah. I think Lazio would, it's mad. But there's so much nuances, and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just merely observing and then saying my little piece. Yeah. And I want to be wrong, and I want Ange to get it right. That's where I'm at. Honestly, that's where I'm at. But Terzic, I'm saying, plays a 4-2. Yeah. Plays a 4-2-3-1. What's the problem? 4-2-3-1, plays a 4-3-3. Does the Gurgen press as well? What? Huh? The pressing that people want. But then they can also drop the line. What's the problem? And check this. Played with the youth, yeah? A certain player that's playing at Aston Villa right now, Marlon, helped develop him, yeah?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Oh, Sancho, got the best out of him, got 18 goals out of him, didn't he? What? Huh? So what? That's bad, play with the youth. Man like Gittins that was in academy brought them forward, you know? Gittins, what's the other youngster that scored against Real Madrid when they played them? Was it Real Madrid they played in the final? The one with the afro that Chelsea were after.
I know you're talking now.
He progressed. I just can't think of it on the top of my head. Do you know, I'm missing so many. But the point
he could be perfect for us.
He progressed the whole academy, like all the youngsters, he put them in the team. So if all the men are screaming and the girl them are screaming, that's it.
Adeyemi.
Yeah? If all the people are screaming, we want to see the youngsters, and I'm just saying, the youngsters ain't quite good enough, or he don't really want to play them. This guy, it was take a man from the academy and throw them in the first team and playing them, bro. And changing it. So I'm not saying give it to him full time, but I'm saying, right, he could do a thing right now. You know, give him a temp, and if he passes on the temp, then you
give him the 18 months, and then if it don't work out, Poch will be ready after the 18 months.
He will know if he got Dortmund Champions League, and I know they've got a better squad, they've got a bigger squad, their board's different. I know, I get all of that. But if he
But
can
they've
get
been
them
crap since.
final, if he could get them Champions League final, I'm thinking maybe he might do well for us in Europa. I'm just saying. I
Yeah,
could be
I
wrong.
get it.
I'm happy to
I
be
get it.
wrong. But I'm just throwing that out there. I don't want Terzic. No. Ange's way better than Terzic. What?
Hey, where's Jules when you need him?
How has Ange been in played for Dortmund? Has he managed a German team, a top five in a top five team in Europe? Huh? So
It's quite funny you say that. It's quite funny because we were discussing the board last week, and one of the guys made a great point because he went, "You've got to remember, none of the board members have managed a big company or a big football company. They've managed a medium-sized one, which they did well at. But once it became a bigger one, none of them are thinking like a big company. They're still thinking like the medium-sized company, and that's probably what Ange is doing. Is what you're saying right now. When you're in the top five leagues, you have to think differently. It works differently. It's totally a different mindset of football compared to when you're in other leagues.
Bro, who's to say Ange doesn't go somewhere else? Yeah,
I've always said Ange will go somewhere else and do well.
and like he's under a different structure, and he gets his Conor Gallagher. You know what I'm saying? He gets. I remember when he was on ITV. I was bang on about this, but I remember when he was looking.
He wants Neto and Archie Gallagher, innit?
Yeah, no, he was looking at Fabian Ruiz. How about that? He was looking at Fabian Ruiz, yeah, and he's like, "What a player! Oh, look at him. He looks so good." I was like, "Oh, Ange, those players!" Why am I shocked though? Fabian Ruiz at PSG. See how he was balling out against Man City. See how what he was doing. Fabian Ruiz and Zemri and man. Do you know what I'm saying?
Ange probably does know good players. He just ain't gonna get them.
Bro, of course, he knows Kubo. Remember, man, come on, man. You think he hasn't listened to Levy? Yo, Kubo, what are you saying? Can't get me a like Kubo after you played out underneath him, and you see what he's doing. And Liverpool want him now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So bro, the list goes on, bro. The list goes on. There was even Conceição. Before Conceição, he was at Porto. He looked at Conceição and he was like, because remember, Conceição and Neto came on together before Conceição went to Juventus. Do you know what I mean? Mm. So, like, who's to say now? He's like, "Rob, can you give me a like Conceição if you can't get me Neto?" Like, because we acting like, "Rob, we ain't got the money." Because people say, "Oh, like, we can't attract these players." Brother, if you put the money down and you test the waters, bro, these men will come and you pay the wages.
Because you have to pay a premium. You have to pay. We have to pay a premium just to get them away from the bigger clubs, and they'll take it.
You see players go over. You see West Ham end up with players like from Ajax.
Look, Robinho can sign for Manchester City, and he didn't even know where he was going. Players will sign for money.
No, I was watching the thing on TalkSport with what's his name, Troy Deeney, and Troy Deeney was like, "Brother, the players don't even know themselves. They get the phone call from the agent. Oh mate, get your suitcase packed. We're off.
Get your stuff ready. A
couple hours before. Yeah, you're going over here. You're going to this place. Oh, cool. Yeah. The reason why, and he was saying the reason why sometimes it's harder in January, or it's harder, but it can get done, but it's harder in January is because some of the older ones, some of the more older have families and they've got homes, they've got kids. So to pack up and leave in the middle of a season and go to a completely different country where you got to change the school.
However,
I get that. Go on.
However, when it comes to Spurs have built in a scenario where the player's family don't have to move, and the player's got a complete hotel for the next 6 months. I bet Max Tell is staying in that hotel for 6 months.
But Max Tell, he's young. He's a young buck anyway.
He's a young buck, but he doesn't have to find a place. He's got the hotel for 6 months.
Right, he can go to Kane's, one of Kane's yards. Kane's got a couple of yards. He could just say, "Hey, let me the keys. Get me, pay a little bit of rent to Kane. Yeah. Give him some money."
I get what Troy Deeney. Yeah, Troy Deeney was right, but at the same time, Spurs have got something extra, extra incentive that they've built.
Yeah, so that hotel lodge. That hotel lodge is amazing, bro. I watched a thing on it, a reel on it, and they were breaking it down how the players before a match they stay in that hotel, the lodge. They stay there, and they've got all that, and it feels like a home. It feels like an apartment because they've got like PlayStation, the Xbox, whatever they want. They've all got it there. They've got if they got goldfish, they got some goldfish there. You know what I'm saying? People will come and massage their feet, and then. But they wanted to make it like a homey feeling, where they feel like a family in it. So then that way they ain't got to drive to the game on match day. Like they've got it all like silver spoon. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a bit too soft.
Yeah, that's what someone said that today on Talksport, said maybe they have it too soft, and that's their problem. And that's the reason why we're seeing what they're seeing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So that it's coming down to, if Ange goes, and I said it, them man ain't got nowhere to hide. That's why they're keeping him on. Everyone's like, why are they keeping Ange on? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Imagine you get rid of Ange now, all of a sudden, Mickey van der Ven still out injured, like, and then Ange starts talking. Yeah, brother, he was injured a long time ago. Like, he was never coming back. Yeah, we done his hamstring. We knew. Yeah, Levy knew. The whole club, like, Ange could really, like, if they sack him, he might have a few skeletons there, innit? But I know, like,
I know can't talk.
I know Levy's smart. He's right after that Conte rant. He signed a disclosure, innit? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, it's always going to be Mourinho. Mourinho disclosure is always the one. Mourinho's already said, actually, he's not going to tell us now. When it's done, he's going to put it all in a book, because he can write a whole book on his whole experience at Spurs and what happened.
That is going to be mad, yeah? So all them man there defending Levy, hey, listen, they should be the first at the bookstore and understand who he really wanted. You know what I mean? We knew, we had murmurs of what happened, like the screen.
It's going to be the whole day of that week he got sacked. That's going to be.
Because you remember, you see that time when Mourinho was in charge, yeah? Oh my days! Do you know how much man them I knew that were panicking when we were linked to Coutinho and Dybala? Do you know how they were panicking with me? They were panicking. I'm like, no.
Bro, so, the man had us top. Do you remember the man had us top of the
league? They knew that Tottenham weren't that far off. They knew, like, with the right one or two like quality players and this type of manager, we could go clear. Do you know what I mean? And then man was shook. Then when we were shook, because this was early in the Arteta era, innit? This was early on. So they were like, bro, like, oh, no, they can't get Coutinho. But anyway, Coutinho ended up flopping anyway, so it didn't make a difference.
True.
He ended up flopping with Sevilla, innit? The Dybala now, that was a different, you know what I'm saying?
He should have come to Spurs, man.
Image rights. There was another player though that never come to us because of image rights, and I can't remember who. But the player was basically done. He was done and dusted. But because of image rights, we didn't want to sell it on. We blocked it.
Yeah, because you can't. Yeah, because in the UK you can't have image rights. It's not part of your contract. Yeah. Something silly like that's a little law. But in the other countries, you can have the contract, but your image rights sits with another third party. You can't do that here. I think Tevez had the same issue. Tevez had to gave it up. Yeah, Tevez, but they gave it up.
I wonder if he was offered to us before West Ham.
I think. Him and
Mascherano. Could you imagine?
They offered to both their clubs, yeah. Tevez is the one. Both of them, to be fair, because Mascherano ended up having a great career. He just couldn't hack it in England, could he?
Mascherano went to Liverpool, he helped them, innit?
He helped them, yeah. He helped them big time.
That's what you call a DM, bro. Like one of those physical DMs, bro. Mm. But it's like moving forward, just looking ahead, like I just think with the fan base, why they will be so flip-flopping, and we've seen it already, is because when we won against Brentford, like no one saw it coming. But did you see what it did to the fan base? With that win, people thought, oh, we could get a win against Liverpool, or we could pick up a draw and that'll take us into the final, right? So can you imagine if we win against Villa on Sunday, what will happen again? Do you understand? People look, and it's it works both ways. I'm not gonna just go at people that are positive on Ange and negative on Levy, or vice versa. You're negative on Ange and you're negative on Levy, or you're positive on Levy and you're negative on Ange, or whichever way you want to dice it up. People so biased to recency and they're so reactive, but they don't even see it. They don't even realize it. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not even like a wait and see where, all right, cool. Let's look at Mikey Moore. Let's give him 5 games. Let's give him 10 games. Let's give him half a season. Let's give him a season. Or I'll tell you a better example. Palmer. Yeah? Cole Palmer is the best example, isn't it? Cole Palmer. He's way better than Foden. He's better than Saka, blah, blah, blah. recency bias. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This season, up and down. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just our fan base; it's football fans.
Yeah, because you're right. Because we had a debate about, because I think when Palmer went and scored his 4 goals and was on form,
He was killing it.
and it was killing it, and we're saying, is he better than Saka and Foden? And now we're looking at going, actually, Saka's not even playing, and then we're like, he's not even better. Saka's in his own league.
Exactly.
So you're all right.
Exactly that, bro.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. But it makes interesting viewing. It makes, like, without the fans being knee jerk, like there would be no content about. There'd be nothing to talk about. Do you understand? And you need
this.
fans. Like, I think what the fashion is right now is fans screaming, like YouTubers especially, screaming at a screen, going mad, innit? You know what I mean? That's what hits the views in that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Not today. It's been a therapy session today, man. Therapy session.
Today's been a calm one. But it is what it is, man. And listen, if people want to do that, that's their thing, and that works for them. Do that, bro. I'm for it, bro. I'm for it. Do you know what I'm saying? We've got our style. Everyone else has got their style. And there's a place for everything. You know what I mean? Especially in this fan base as well. We need more of that. I think we need more reactionary to talk about, man.
Deji, yeah. That's Deji's territory.
Hey, Deji, we soon link up, yeah? Deji, we soon link up. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty much. Probably, you know what I'll probably do? I'll probably stand up, leave the show, and then something else will come to my head. But that's what I got.
Hey, mate, if you want to, just come back into the studio, come open it up and go, look, this is what I forgot to say. Just start recording again.
Someone else waiting.
No, you're the last one.
Oh,
why do you think I've kept you on for 40 minutes?
Oh.
I'll let you get off, man.
Oops. Yeah.
I'll let you get off your chest, man.
That's my say. I don't know. Do you have a say as well? How do you see things? Do you have a say on anything going on?
Nah, I'm just, you know what? At this present moment, I'm not. My mind's a bit clouded with everything. I'm not going to sit there and say, I know what I don't know what I'm thinking at the moment. I think after yesterday, it clouded a lot of my judgment with everything. So I just wanted to hear everyone else's views.
Was it because the defeat was so heavy? Was it the manner of the defeat that's clouded?
It was the manner of the defeat. Yeah, it's the manner of the defeat. I don't mind losing to Liverpool.
Yeah.
I don't care about losing to Liverpool.
Remember, before we went on, we both said we're losing today.
Yeah.
Remember, before we went on, we said we're both losing today, and then
it's just going to be. Ange has always had the bit where against the better sides we've played better.
Yeah.
But the Arsenal away game and that game now has really killed my spirit a little bit with him.
But are we also now seeing what Plan B looks like? And he says, I don't do Plan Bs. Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see what we do against Villa. I think my mind is going to be made up after Villa. If we get... I don't think we'll get battered. I don't think we'll get battered.
We won't get battered. We never really do get battered. It's just Liverpool.
We won't get battered. It's just Liverpool. Liverpool are the best team in the country, and we just forgot it. I think as Spurs fans, we just forgot it. Mm-hmm. And that's all it was. But it was just the manner of the fact that the players made no effort. Like it should have been. I know we're unlucky at Anfield, but Jesus, oh no! Guess who's joined at the last minute? Let me see if I can bring him out. Hold on.
I've inspired him, innit? I've inspired him.
What I might get you to do, actually, if you can give me, if you can sign out and sign in properly,
I'll come up.
So sign in properly and come back as proper you. So go into Spurs recording, go into one-off shows, and come back as you, so you can do the background stuff as well.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'll replace you. Yeah. Yo, I saw you had a fresh trim earlier. Can't hear you, man. You're on mute. What's happening to your sound, man? Nah, he's still not there, bro. Well, why he's trying to sort out his sound beeps? I hope you learned it. I hope everyone in the chat has enjoyed today. It's been a chat. Everyone's feeling the same. We're all Spurs fans at the end of the day. But box office, where are you, man? You might have to come out and come back in. You might have to give permissions to your PC. Whatever you've done it on, give permissions to your PC for your sound. Can you hear me? why his transfer is sound. But yeah, no, it's just been like, what does everyone else think as well? Like, what is everyone else's bit at the moment? Let me just come off this for a second. Let me come onto this. Remove UG. But why Ashton box office sorting themselves out? Look, we all love Spurs. It's just been, it's just been one of them moments for us right now. Like I said, look, is he back? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just. Yeah, there we go. You there now?
Right.
How you doing?
Well, I'm all right. Let me just.
Hold on. I just quickly need to do something. I'm just gonna swap myself out with Ashmatic, yeah, and I'll let
Yeah.
Ashmatic talk to you for a bit, and then I'll come back.
Yeah, cool.
1 second. Let me just replace edit. Ah, there he is.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go for it, man. Have your say.
Well, I wanted to speak to that. I wanted to speak to that waffler, bloody Marlon, bro, man. You know what I mean? I wanted to speak to that waffler
You
Marlon,
see,
man.
talk about Kingsky, yeah, and all the free European
Well,
spot.
no, because it's brilliant take on saying, oh, you know what? I should have Spence, not have Spence in the bloody European squad. You know what I mean? That brilliant take of his. Bloody hell. An
Yeah,
absolute
Spence.
fantastic take, honestly, by the way. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You know? Fantastic take. You know, you're gonna lose the guy when the guy was not even really there in the first place because he's only doing it for himself because his manager's so useless. Well, I don't want. Okay, I'm gonna have to put one pin in the jar if I say anything bad about the manager now because I can't keep on bashing the manager now. Not that I don't like the manager.
I
You know
like
what I
that.
mean?
I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's what it is, and I think
Yeah.
that's what people miss sight of. We don't have. Well, I talk for myself, especially. I like him. I actually like him. I like him as a personality. I think he's like a good guy, and I actually don't mind that the fact he wants to play football the right way. I haven't got an agenda against that. I don't mind that he wants to play front-footed football. There's nothing wrong with playing front-footed football.
Mm.
Everyone's waiting for the butt. Everyone's waiting for the butt. No, that's what I got to say, man. I've already said my piece about the manager, the coach, whatever you want to call it. I said the first thing I will get rid of is the coaches that's underneath him, and he needs to have more experienced coaches that challenge him. But then the caveat to that is, will he listen to them? Because he is stubborn. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think he's listening to them at all, really. To be honest, if I'm really honest, I don't think he's listening to them at all. Like I said, I don't think he changed it against Brentford. Because I think the players, like I said, were tired, and did what they did, and they got the breaks, and that's it for me. And then I think Liverpool, they broken us, they got through, broke the deadlock, and then you saw what we saw.
He
That's it,
said
really.
pre-game, apparently, he said that he wants to go back to his normal way. That's what he said before the Liverpool game.
Well, that
So
sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? Then.
yeah, it's there's more question marks than answers then in terms of what he was doing. Um, Moving forward, this makes another case study for Aston Villa on Sunday, and we need to see if what changes he makes because he is playing further back than he normally does. And is that down to, like you said, is it down to tiredness, or is it down to selection, or is it down to instruction? Is
It's
it
either
one of
it's
the
either
coaches
it's
getting there?
either two things. It's either two things. Someone's had a word. Someone's had a word, right?
Well, I mean,
Either
above someone above you mean?
upstairs or someone from the coaching staff,
Mm.
right? And someone from the coaching staff saying, "Okay, I've just heard this from the grapevine that if you don't do this." But I don't see Ange taking that. I don't see Ange. I don't think that's going to be happening. Or he's real, well, I just don't think he's changing. I just don't think he's changed. Like I said, I think the players have just got so tired that they can't, you know.
Well, the players are playing for him, and apparently the statistic was that, and I know you don't like stats, but they outran Liverpool. They did more running than Liverpool. And when he was doing his press conference, apparently the players were sleeping when he was doing his press conference. That's how shattered they were. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So like, it's not even a case where we can't say, they're not playing for him, and we can't say, can we say he hasn't adapted? Because it's no
I don't,
longer.
I don't, I
You
just,
can't say that no more. That narrative's gone now, isn't it? You can't say he hasn't adapted
what,
because.
like I say, I don't think that's on him. I think it's down to circumstance. And I think he's even said it himself.
Oh,
You
so
know what I mean?
you're actually saying then that he didn't adapt then?
I don't think you don't know. I think the players have done it. I think
You
it's
think?
circumstances.
Okay.
Because look, after Liverpool scored, we went back to type.
So, but wouldn't you say though, from when he played, he used to play both fullbacks really inverted, and the line that we play with Archie Gray being there and Dragushin, the line wasn't as high when Romero and Van der Ven was there, or would you
Yeah,
say it's the same?
it's not just that. It's the way that we defend. It's the way
Yeah,
that we are. The midfield. Nothing's changed because the midfield's easy to get through easily.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So like nothing's changed. The way that we attack is no different to what we've seen before.
Wouldn't you?
It's no creativity whatsoever. You know what I mean? I don't see anything really different to what we've seen before.
Mm.
Yeah, you have your odds attacking that, but it's like I don't think anything's really different or inspiring in my opinion. I mean, I don't think football's actually that inspiring in the slightest right now. I think there's lots of more inspiring managers out there or coaches out there if you want to talk about it, or similar different styles that are a bit inspiring. But as
Mm.
for this manager, I think the problem with the missed manager is that everyone watched that documentary, got all googly eyed, and said, "Oh yeah, he looks really good." Then he started playing well for the first 10 games, and then everyone went over the top. And then since then, it's just been up and down since. And those people that are, I don't like saying Ange fans, but there are a lot of Ange fans here that are just cannot let it go, that won't let it go. And so it is what it is. I'm sorry, I'm going to be giving 5p in the jar now because I think I've now criticised him again, haven't I? Bashed him again, haven't I?
Well, do you know what it is? I feel like if we had gotten Ange, like I think you said it before as well, after Pochettino, I think the transition would have been a bit smoother. I think that's when that style of football might have worked. He might have caught the league cold, and we might have been able to back this style of manager a little bit more. Because I think football's changed, and you're seeing that with Pep. Pep's actually come out and said we have to be more like the Newcastles, we have to be more like the Brightons, we have
Mm.
to be more like the Bournemouths. And I'm thinking, is it a case of the teams that are doing the best at the moment are the teams that are slightly more direct? So what I mean by that is when you're playing out from the back, these teams, they give it to their centre backs, and their centre backs are just firing it into the channels. They're not just going along, but they're actually firing into the channels. For example, the Bournemouth, I've realised their centre back Holson, he gets the ball, picks it up with his left foot, he fires it out to someone like Semenyo, and then Zerkic will back him up. So even if the ball doesn't land to Semenyo, Zerchik will pick up the second ball, or it might be Cook or Adams, whoever the midfielder is in midfield, they win the second ball, and then that's how they stay high up the pitch. So football's evolved slightly. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit more direct, a bit more forward thinking, no more short passes, and I think we're still doing the whole possession pace, short passing, tiki taka style. Even though we're not tiki taka, but do you know what I mean? The way we build up more through small passes. Even that mistake we made with Basuma, that was you've got Basuma, you've got Sarr, and I think it was Kulusevski that played him the pass.
Mm.
Those three players, if you looked at them, they're quite close to each other. So we like to build up with short, little, tiny passes as opposed to being spread out. Do you know what I mean? Or as opposed to being a bit more direct. When we went more direct is when Porro was on the pitch, and
Mm.
then Porro was able to fire those balls into the channels or switch to play over the top. And when I looked at the data for all the teams, in terms of like passing, we are, I think we're second bottom in terms of long balls and switches. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool a lot higher up, even though they not technically a direct football side, if that makes sense. So it's just that I felt like we've been caught in a wrong transition where this phase of football is kind of coming out. Do you know what I mean? And also the coaches, they got more nuances. They got more understanding of the game. They're able to tweak, and where Ange will sit there, he won't tweak. He kind of leaves the players to figure it out. But the problem he has is the footballers that he has. They don't have the intelligence off the ball. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's why
Mm.
we look defensively all over the place.
Yeah, listen. I think there's a lot of things a lot of things at hand here, and it's not as straightforward as just let's just sack the manager and that. Yeah, I hear the argument about we need to, we don't
You
want to
don't
sack
want
the
Mason in
manager.
charge. That's why you're saying that. You don't want Mason.
I don't want Mason in charge. I don't want Mason in charge. No,
What,
no,
what,
I
what
don't
if
want
it's
him.
Matty Wells? Would you take Matty Wells in charge instead of Mason?
Listen, I think we need to find somebody. The understanding I had when Ange was and then they had that where is it? They had the youth director, Simon Davis,
Yeah.
is that they were going to put in a system where, even if the manager, if they want to get rid of the manager, or the manager's not ready, not there, they think, the manager needs to move on, or the manager wants to move on. They've got somebody that they've researched on before who plays a similar, does a similar thing to Ange. You know what I mean?
So what, like
So,
the Ipswich manager,
well, yeah, or Ipswich
McKenna?
manager,
McKenna.
or somebody similar to Ange, and just or maybe can bring the team forward. You know what I mean? So,
Possession based, front footed, attacking style football.
yeah.
Because he's not able to do it at Ipswich at the moment, if we're looking at McKenna, because he hasn't quite got the players for it. But I think that's why people are looking at a McKenna to come over and take over. Whether the jump's too big is another question. Is he another yes man? That's another question as well. And people hate it when you say like things like yes man. But to put it politely, is he a man that is gonna, I say, follow orders? That sounds insulting as well. I don't know no other way to phrase it. Someone that is not gonna go against the manager, the people above him is what I'm saying.
Mm,
So if the people say, look, this is what you got to work with, can you work with it? Can you get on with your job? Can you get out the best out of these particular players?
mm,
He's gonna be like, yeah, I can do that. I've got this. Don't worry. I'm gonna work with these players and I'm gonna push them up the league. Do you know what I mean? I
mm.
just don't know what the expectation would be with McKenna. Would it be to get us top four, or
It,
would they just
it,
say
it
Europa?
wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be.
Where's
It,
Marlon gone? Marlon's
it,
cheeky. He did a hey, Marlon did a sly one, you know.
Marlon, where did Marlon go?
He didn't come for me, you know. He's like, Ash, just come on. Why he's there for? He knows exactly what he's doing, man. Hey, listen.
Cheeky man.
Yeah, he didn't want it. He didn't want it, bro. He didn't want it. He didn't want it.
Yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing. That's it.
That
Cheeky man.
Kingsley one, that little, he didn't want to have that Kingsley debate. That's what it was.
No, no, it's not. I'm not even bothered about Kinski. No, I was just.
The Spence one.
I was only joking about it anyway.
Yeah,
It's not really
yeah,
big. But listen, you know what? I'm tired of having these discussions. I was actually going to do a show. Yeah, I actually called. We had a chat earlier, didn't we? I
I
was
thought
going
you
to.
were gonna do your show, man. I thought you
Yeah,
were gonna do
but
it.
you know what? You know what? It's tough. It's tough talking about Tottenham when you're doing the same, when you're saying the same things. But as mate, I've got to be honest now. I'm
Mm.
fed up of having the conversation about Pochettino now. I'm getting fed up with that now.
Don't mention him. Just don't mention him. Just don't mention him.
I know, no, no, yeah, but the point is though, Asthmatic, unfortunately, it just
That,
keeps on coming up.
but I tell you, who doesn't rate Pochettino? Chelsea fans. Chelsea fans do not rate him one single bit. But I tell you what will be interesting: if their current manager doesn't finish above sixth, yeah.
Yeah,
If he doesn't finish above sixth, or even if he gets finishes fifth, I'm like, what's the justification of getting rid of Pochettino? Was that really a good move? It's kind of spooky. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
After them, man, were
yeah.
brushing them. Oh, this guy, he's not the levels. He's what do they call him? He's naive. He's
But
basic. He's
I
not this and
understand.
that.
I understand why they're saying it because they're used to winning. Chelsea fans, they're ruthless.
They are
Yeah,
ruthless, but
they,
in one season, do you know what I'm saying? For where they were, remember they were like 12th. They're finishing like 12th, like, and then like the next season, what you want top four? Like, how dare you? Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
but
Football doesn't
some of
work
those
like that.
Chelsea fans are in the like they haven't really been supporting them for very long. You know, they're used to winning. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
it's,
some of
it's a
them,
different culture. I get it. Yeah, it's a different
some of
culture
them
completely.
are like young people that are just young. They've been for the Abramovich era when they were just
Yeah,
winning. Yeah, and then Abramovich would just sack them. Like
yeah,
some of the Chelsea fans are like, you know, one of the Chelsea fans I actually liked on your rival show. Yeah,
yeah,
he'd
yeah,
be he was from that generation of when Chelsea weren't that great. You know what I mean?
yeah,
After
yeah,
Ken Bates and that, all that. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's
So I
true.
think they got that sort of
Well, we were bigger than
originality.
Chelsea them days. We were bigger than Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the point. So it's just like when you look at it like that, it's like the whole thing with HG. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. And you know, I hear people they like the HG, they like all this other stuff and all that stuff and Phil Tilth and all that crap. For me, I don't even care if people think I talk nonsense. I couldn't listen to anyone that talks to me and take me. I can't take anyone seriously for one talk about HG. I
mm.
couldn't take them seriously. I'll be honest with you.
Bro. All XG is right. Are you far away from the goal? How many players are in front of the goal? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you have a clear sight and goal? That's all XG is to me. To me. Do
It's
you know what I'm
bollocks.
saying?
Sorry
Shots
for
outside the
swearing.
box. If
I
you
just
shoot,
can't do
but
it. Sorry
if
for
you,
swearing.
but yeah, the whole numbers thing is it's just it's a joke thing. But basically, if you shoot from outside the box, then obviously your XG is low. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the chance of you scoring is not great. But if you're inside the box, then your XG is high. Of course, you've got more
So
chance of
where's
scoring.
that spontaneity then? You know what I mean? You wouldn't have David Ginola then. You wouldn't have Rivaldo then. You wouldn't have Messi. You wouldn't have
No,
Ronaldo. You know what
yeah,
I
no,
mean?
I hear it. I know,
You
like
wouldn't have those players that did those sort of things. You know what I mean?
well,
That
I
score from
understand
outside
it.
the box. You know what I
I'm
mean?
just telling you what the metric is meant to represent. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, like, and maybe like back in the day when we used to see match of the day, you just fling it on, man would score top bins, score bangers all the time, bang
yeah.
top corner, off the crossbar and in, like Tony Yeboah. You know what I'm saying? That used to be normal for us. Like
Mm.
nowadays, like when you watch Goal of the Month, the goals are tame. You know what I'm saying? They're not the
No,
same.
they're not the same,
But
man. They're not the same. They're like all the same now, to be honest with you, because everyone needs to get into the box.
But
You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know. I don't know if football is going to take that turnaround because football goes in cycles. I don't know if it's going to be a thing where players that have individual quality come back.
You
Do you know what I'm
know,
saying? We go revert back to that, and it becomes less about the system. Do you know what I'm saying?
mm.
Because individual players, they're very expensive. They're very hard to come by. So if you can get a player that can like change a game, you know what I'm saying? Teams will want to invest in that. I wonder if we're going to go back to that era.
I don't think that will be. I think the game's got to a point where they can't afford to take that risk. I think that's the problem now.
I don't
I
know,
think it's
like
more, but
I,
you
I
know,
hear I hear it, but I feel like the academies are changing, in it. Like new players, new coaches are coming in with new ideas.
cheeky guy,
So
cheeky man, close the show, cheeky man, cheeky man,
ah,
cheeky man,
I
cheeky man,
was like, who's Chichi
cheeky
Man?
man.
Who's Chichi Man? Oh, Chicky Man,
Yeah,
Chicky Man.
yeah, cheeky man. No, Marlon, cheeky man, closing the show.
That's it.
Close the show. He wants to
Is it?
close. Thanks for tuning in. Ashton Botsoff for the close the show. Cheeky man, cheeky bro. Cheeky. Eh.
Hey, listen. If you got anything more to say your piece, bro. But I'm easy. You get it? I'm easy.
No,
I'm
no,
easy.
no, no, no. Oh, is he here now? He's turned up. He's turned up. Cheeky man. Cheeky man.
You got you. Yeah. Did he get you rattled?
Yeah. Oh, good. Cool. But yeah, but you know, like I say, you know, it is what it is. Like I say, it's you know, I don't think the game's going to change anyway because I don't think we can afford to. You know, I don't think we can
No,
afford to.
no, but the reason why I say it, yeah, is because, like I said, if you've got new coaches with new ideas coming in, and they're like, actually, we're going to promote more players that are more maverick types, guys that are off the cuff, that break the system, then they will encourage that at grassroots and get those younger players in. and then before you know it, you've got like wingers that take their man on, cut inside and shoot. See what I'm trying to say? So like, and a lot of teams, they're following this model where they're doing the whole academy approach. Do you know what I'm saying? They're going for the academies. They're seeing what Man City's done. Man City, look how much players Man City's produced over the last couple years, over the last few years. That's why everyone's copying them. Chelsea, the same. Everyone's copying them. Look at Arsenal's academy now. Spurs, like, if you're going to deep it, Spurs have one of the better academies. They've got one of the best academies. Look, for some reason, we're really attractive at the moment. Look at the players we just signed. 18-year-old striker from Ireland. You know what I'm saying? So,
But people, it looks like people are adding to your show, bro. Man. It looks like you got a long night, bro. You got a long night. Yeah, I
right,
mean,
we have to bring him on. We have to bring on. I don't
yeah,
know. I'm gonna bring it. I don't know if it's one at a time. I don't know if I have to kick you off on box office. I think it's like a one in,
if you've got to keep me off, you got to keep me off, bro.
a one in, a one out kind of situation. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's a
no.
one in.
I'll allow my boy Brian to come on. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because like everyone needs to go, and I ain't really got that much to say. All I will say is this. I'll close it like this. Yeah. Is that, and this is, don't get used to this. I'm actually more calmer. Well, to be honest, I was fed up anyway. I was fed up after 2 years anyway after this, because like, you know what I mean, life's too short. You know what I mean? Life's too short to be worried about certain things. You know what I mean? Life is, there are more important things to worry in life. You know what I mean? Than Tottenham. And some of the ridiculous things, I do think we do need a debate sometimes, because it is only football. You know what I mean? You know, it's not that deep. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? But like, I am fed up of talking about the whole thing in the past about Pochettino, Martin Yole. I just want to see some new memories. You know what I mean? You
Yeah, I
know,
think we all do. I think we're all at
I
that
think
same point
I
now.
just want some new memories. I just don't want to keep on saying the same thing. It's just so boring at the moment. And like I say, I'm struggling to do a show at the moment, because if I'm just saying the same thing, if I say something coming out my mouth, the same thing, it's just getting boring at the
So
moment.
you
You know
just
what I
need to
mean?
go away and refresh them, bro, broski. You just need to go away and,
And you know what I mean?
you know what I mean,
So,
and you'll be fine.
I just think it's and yeah, we have to just move on to Aston Villa and see what happens there. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's a bumpy ride, like I said, and yeah, hopefully I will be back soon on the show, doing the show on my channel. But like I
Cool,
say,
man.
you know how it is, But big up everybody, yeah.
Big
And
up, big up, big up.
I'm out of here, yeah. Take care, Asthmatic, yeah.
Yeah,
Take
bro.
care, Marlon,
We'll talk soon, man. Love
and
and
take care, Brian. Take
love
care,
and
bro.
manners, love and respect, man. Powers. Peace,
Take
peace,
care,
peace.
bro. Take care, bye bye.
All right, let's bring on the next guest, man. And it is Brian Daigle.
What's up, brother? What's up, bro? It feels weird. It was me doing the hosting last week on We Are Tottenham. I thought, you know what? I'll come. I've got 20 minutes free, and I thought I'd quickly pop on and have a
Yeah.
chat. How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm not bad, man. So I think the state of affairs is speak your mind, man. Talk your ish. Say what you want. Say what's on your heart, man. Because I think at the moment, I think Marlon was saying fans, whether they sit on the Ange in or Ange out debate, I feel fans are pretty much on the same wavelength. We're not happy. We're just not happy on the current state of affairs. So, but yeah, Brian, man, tell me what you think.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to say one thing I want to put to bed immediately is if we had all our players back, it would have been better. It would have been different. I'm going to cast your mind back to Anfield last year. Just last season.
Yep.
Just
I was
last
saying
season.
the same thing. I was saying the same thing. Go on.
Goalkeeper. This is the lineup. Goalkeeper, Vicario. Back four. Porro, Romero, Van der Ven,
Yep.
Emerson Royale instead of Destiny. Still haven't got a left back to replace Destiny. We're playing a right back who's left back in Spence. Midfield, Bentancur, Sarr, Basuma. Up front.
Ooh, sounds familiar.
Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Up front, Kulusevski, Son, Brennan Johnson.
Ooh,
So
very
apart
familiar.
from Emerson Royale, that was pretty much, or Destiny, that was pretty much Tottenham's first team lineup last season. 4-0 down in 59 minutes. But it's okay. If the injuries weren't there, we would do better. This injury, mate, I just don't get it anymore. For every excuse that I hear, it's just it's ridiculous, mate. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yes, we have injuries. Other teams have injuries. The week before, Liverpool played Bournemouth and had offered more against Liverpool than we did.
100%.
The week before that, Brentford held Liverpool at bay until 2 Darwin Núñez goals in the dying minutes.
Facts.
But here at Tottenham, no, injuries, bad play. Ange hasn't got the system. And the worst thing about it, Ash, have you seen that stat comparing us to Accrington Stanley?
Oh, I haven't seen the stat, but I heard about
Okay,
having more of a fight than Spurs.
So,
Oh, more shots. I reckon more shots. Go on. Tell me.
I'm gonna give it to you now. I'm just gonna get that image. I just got to find it. Here we go. Accrington Stanley at Anfield versus Spurs yesterday at Anfield. Total shots for Tottenham, not on target, shots, 5. Accrington Stanley, 8. Shots on target, Tottenham, 0. Accrington Stanley, 1. Total touches in the box, Tottenham Hotspur, 8. Accrington Stanley, 13. Shots conceded, Tottenham Hotspur, 26. Accrington Stanley, 22. Final third passes is the one that we win, guys. We can all cling on to that. Like goal difference, like this high goal difference. We had 41 final third passes compared to Accrington Stanley's 40. Accrington Stanley gave a better performance and accounted themselves at Anfield than when we did. But then you have fans, when I posted that or mentioned it, going, yeah, but the team we played against the team Liverpool played Accrington played was different. Well, this is a Tottenham team that was held by Tamworth. But we won't let these stats get in the way, mate. Honestly, the delusion. And Ashma, you've seen the comments from my clip from obviously We Are Tottenham TV clipped me up. The comments in there. One of the comments for the excuse why we can't, and this is the best excuse I've ever heard. Now I don't know how many in the chat. Brace yourself for this one. The reason we cannot mix it with the big boys is because of all the extra events. The energy bills have gone up, and to pay the staff to attend these events are what is holding us back.
Well.
This is where we're at, Ash. This is where we're at. It's woeful, isn't it?
Oh, that's crazy, bro. I've never heard such invention, creativity for excuse. That is very creative. I'll give that person.
And do you remember we have been voted the greenest Premier League team? But the
best well-run club as well. Best well-run. Don't forget that.
Yep. But the energy bills are what is stopping Tottenham Hotspur from going to the next stage.
Yeah.
Obviously, and everyone knows what we do has its perks, but it also has its opposite of perks. Where you say it has its bad points because you become a target for people.
Yeah.
And some of the crap we have to hear. Like I saw people saying about you two laughing when I was going, not mad, but calmly mad. And it's like, if you don't laugh, you're going to shout and cry.
Yeah.
It's bad, isn't it? It's bad. And the good old Daniel having a nice little kip during the game.
To be fair, it was past his bedtime, I think.
Mate, you know what? This guy, no matter what he does, he just can't help himself. The one time the cameras go to him, and he's taking a little nap, or the cameras have just got him at the right moment. We are terrible.
Hey, big up Danny. Hey, Danny, I want you on soon. Message me, innit? I want you on soon. Message me. But yeah, listen, I want to ask you, obviously, Two questions. Like, what would you change? How does Ange fix this? How does Ange pick up results from here? And I'm talking about football sense. I
Yep.
know, like, you could obviously say, "Oh, just sack him, get rid of him." But I'm saying, if there was a way to change the events, what would you change, and what would you do differently, for, like, moving forward against Aston Villa, Man United, obviously coming up, and then Man City after the next 3 games to
I
get positive
personally,
results?
I personally don't think he can save it. I personally, obviously, I want him out now. But if you look at this, he could have. I mean, we just spoke about the midfield from last season.
So wait, do you think we'll lose against Villa?
100%.
Okay.
One up. I think it's going to be the exact type of performance that we had yesterday. Because
We have the exact same lineup. Or do you think Bergwijn will come
obviously
in?
Richie Carr. Well, welcome to Tottenham, Matthias Tell. You are now Tottenham's only striker, the only striker at this football club, apart from Scarlett. But let's face it. So we've now gone
Tied in it. So
Oh, mate, did you Eva? Did you see what Ange said this morning?
no, what did he say?
This is how bad it's getting. Remember a couple of years ago when we didn't know how many loan players we had out and we had to let Matt Doherty go?
Yeah.
He came out and said that it's good Dane Scarlett will be fit and available for Spurs versus Aston Villa on the weekend. He's cup tied. He played in the FA Cup for Oxford.
Right.
So he doesn't even know what cup competitions his players are eligible to play in. This is
Management, eh?
I don't even understand how. Do you know what the thing is? If we went up to Mars and said, right, this has happened, or we try and sold this as a movie, people go, no, this wouldn't happen. Something, if this was going on, an owner would make a change, or if the manager isn't getting the right results, he'd see it and make tweaks. I can't see, Ash. The midfield, we don't have a midfield. We are as wide open as
All right.
Go on, bro. Go on.
I have to make a scenario. Supposing
do it.
obviously we've got worst case scenarios in our heads because we're saying Ange is not going to do it. He's not going to be able to make it.
Yep.
But what if Ange was to win the Europa Cup? Right? What if he was to win the Europa Cup, Europa League?
Yep.
And we had a positive influence in the league where I'm not saying he got like 10 games in a row. I'm not saying that drastic, but he started to get a couple wins here and there, a couple draws, and we moved up the table alongside with that cup. And we got Champions League now, so all of a sudden it's all attractive. Do you still think the fan base turns on them, or are we still divided? And equally, do you think the club sacks him after that?
If this man wins a cup and it's Europa League or the FA Cup, then a lot of people that have been Ange out for a long time, or someone as recent as me, have got to say, you know what, fair play, Ange.
Yeah, because quite a few are recent.
You've got to, but this is the thing. You give the scenario within the Europa League, I would say we're a team that can't beat Ipswich, Palace, Everton, Leicester, Tamworth to 90 minutes, and people think we're going to go all the way to Bilbao. But listen, you never know. This would be the most typical thing ever, wouldn't it? That we're literally...
It would be a movie. It would be a movie. I like it. They would have to write a book. They would have to write a movie on it. They'd have to write a book in it.
Who would play Ange? What actor would play Ange?
Bruce, none other than Bruce Willis. Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson as
Mel Gibson. You can take our whatever it is, but you cannot take our freedom. It'd have to be. It'd have to be something like that, wouldn't it?
Hey, listen. I'm just saying, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Mel Gibson.
Crazier things have happened. Has
it wouldn't be De Niro, brother. Come on, mate. Robert De Niro is an icon, an absolute icon.
It's a bit controversial though, because Mel Gibson did the whole Da Vinci Code, so I don't know.
But listen. Well, let's get. Listen, technically, until we're out the cups, we can technically win them. Yeah. We went into this week with 3. I mean, the worst thing is, can you imagine if we had lost to Brentford?
Oh yeah, no,
or drawn, or just not got the win.
Yeah, I think he'd be in a chokehold right now.
I think if the performance is as bad as it was at Liverpool, and the worst thing about it, and God bless Archie Gray and Bergvall. They had to go and drag some of the senior players to go over and applaud the away end yesterday.
Yeah, you just know that's how bad it's gotten. To be fair, you're right, but
They're
you just
cowards.
know this board have got no plan B. Like it's Ange to the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
You know that, right? You
Yeah.
know there's no backup, despite people like rumors, Allegri, Terzic, and all those other characters. You just know, despite them being out of work, they still don't have a plan B. They don't know what they're doing because in their heads, like he's the fall guy. It has to work for him. It has to work. And as I said before, the players are buying into him. Like your Bergvalls that are pulling up Bentancur. Maybe Bentancur's head's gone. Do you know what I'm saying? Bentancur, he's lost his head. But remember, Bergvall is younger in it, so he hasn't had as much pain.
Yep.
So he's able to be like, no, what you doing? Like, this is the right way to do. Like as a parent, sometimes your kid pulls you up, like, or your nephew says, "Oh, don't swear." Do you know what I mean? But they haven't had the amount of emotional scarring that you've gone through.
Do you know
You
what
know
you
what I
say?
mean?
You say nephews, man, and obviously you're a father.
Or nieces, or you know what I mean?
I've got my nephews, and my nephews are twins. Have now
Yeah.
got to their age where they're deep into the football, loving Tottenham.
Yeah.
Obviously, the uncle and grandpa kind of affiliation has got them to be Spurs fans. Unfortunately, bless them.
Yeah.
But they went round to watch the game yesterday
Yeah.
with my parents. And I speak to my parents today, and they go, "Do you know what? Your nephews swear like troopers when it comes to Spurs." And I was like, "Mum, they're 12 years old. Why are you allowing it?" They go, "Well, they did it in the right context." So I was like, "Okay, fair play." Well, what can you argue with this stuff? But you know what? You go back to saying Archie Gray and Bergvall with Ange. They obviously don't know different in this league or whatever.
Yeah, they're fresh to it.
They're fresh to it, but do you know what? If this is what Ange could do with them, imagine what a proper coach that does actually coach them and spend time on the training pitch can do with them. Because I think Archie Gray is going to be. I was delighted when we signed him. And he's just shown what he can do and what he's willing to do for the team. I think with the right coach, he could be absolutely phenomenal.
The argument at the moment, though, is there isn't enough time to do the coaching on off the pitch because we've got so many games back to back. And even if we did have enough time, he doesn't have the full squad at his disposal to get the methods across to carry out maybe what a different coach will want to do. And I think that's the reason why they're kind of sticking with Ange at the moment. And also, as I said before, if they get rid of Ange, then they've got no bulletproof vest, they've got no umbrella. It's going to rain on them.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, first of all, I can see Mr. Kiriakou in here. I won't stop the hype with Archie Gray at all. Mate, it's the only ray of sunshine that I can actually grab at the moment. And I think Archie Gray deserves a fuckload of credit, in my personal opinion. I really, really do. Sorry, Ash, I saw that from Danny. What was we just saying?
No, I'm just
Oh, yeah,
saying.
no, I knew what I was going to say. Sorry, Ash. Do you remember at the beginning of the season when Ange said we're physically stronger and more prepared this season?
Oh, yeah, I do
Like, do you know
remember that.
what? This guy is cursed. It's like everything he says just turns to dust.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah, crazy.
Everything. And you would have thought as well that this guy would have learned when Mourinho came and always win something.
All right. So in the next, I'd say 10 days. All right, next 10 days. What we're February the what? 7th?
Yep.
Yeah. February the 7th, right? So 10 days time is February the 17th. Odebert makes a surprise turn back earlier than expected. Vicario is now fit in goal. And now Slanky's near into fitness. He's like a week away from fitness. We managed to get Van der Ven some minutes. Like, I don't know, I'm gonna put aspect there, you know what I'm saying? And Madison's back. He's purring. He's ready to go. I'm not going to mention Johnson. I already have, but
Dinner time.
we've got a few players back. You know what I'm trying to say, and they're
Yeah.
invigorated. Can they help us?
They can help us, obviously. They obviously they can, but people will when they come back. We've heard that Ben Davies, when he was coming back, had a setback, and then he was put back. Richarlison, who was given an extra 2 weeks to make sure he was ready and raring to go and super fit. That one lasted. Romero is a slow healer. I love that. I mean, the
He
phrase.
was on a training picture a few weeks ago, but yeah.
Mate, listen, the things that come out, let's realistically say they all come back. They all come back.
The gang's back together again.
They're not going to, we're going to have to, I use another Ange saying, manage their minutes. And they don't come back straight away, tickety boo. They need to get there. I don't see a pretty ending for the rest. I see this month being exactly the same as January.
So you would you rather have Mason or would you rather have Ange? That's what I want to know as well.
Do you know what? Joe, I'm actually going to say Mason.
You are, yeah?
I am. And the reason I am going to say Mason, the reason I'm going to say it is, do you know what? I think these players are going into training right now and just, it's all well and do what they're doing on the pitch, but if they're not feeling it on the training ground and the camp is that low and that, I'm coming. My wife's just come for the second. I'm getting a death stare. I am getting a death stare, but I'm finishing.
We're in the show on that one.
I'm finishing this. Like I said, the way they are going into training at the moment, it don't look like they care. There's no accountability. They're just going through the same motions, doing the same thing over and over again, and it's not bearing results. I think these players are checked out.
You think so?
I think they're checked out, but do you know why I think they're checked out? I don't even blame Ange for this, because we don't buy leaders. We don't buy people that hold. If this was back in the 90s, Ash, or even back where there were senior figures in that room that wouldn't worry if they're in the leadership team or anything.
I don't know. Fans were saying Kulusevski's a leader.
Maybe on the pitch, off the pitch, when you need people.
Bentancur was talking out in the training room. The players are looking up to Bentancur and stuff. I don't know.
Well, apparently they look up to Maddison. That's working out well. Romero, who will be so busy to slap a player. Well done, you scored a goal. Let's give you a hard slap. But when it comes down to this, and going nuts at them and reading them right out, there's just nothing. There's no leadership there, buddy. There is no. I would take Ryan Mason. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I would take Ryan Mason. But on that note, Ash, I'm going to let you get to bed.
Yes, you get to your.
I'm going to save myself getting a slap.
I apologise.
No, it's my fault, brother. It's not your. Listen, I'll take one for the. It's my fault. But yeah, everyone in the chat. I'm coming. I'm just saying goodbye.
Your dinner's in the kitchen.
Okay, darling. Right, Ash, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man.
We'll get you on Tottenham on tour real soon. Everyone, all I will say, it's been my parting gift all day. Everyone, whatever you do, have a really, really, really good Saturday, because Spurs are going to ruin your Sunday. So enjoy your Saturday. And I will just say, as always, Levy out.
Peace.
Laters, bro.
Laters, man. Big up, man. So yeah, man, show's done. We're out, man. We're finished, man. Big up everyone in the chat that's participated. And yeah, man, what can I say, man? Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and share the video if you've enjoyed tonight. And if you want to have your say, I'm thinking this might be a regular thing. I don't know, man. See what Marlon. It was a pop-up show, to be fair, but I kind of like it here, man. I think it's kind of nice. I can't always do it, but maybe Marlon will take this up, man. And hopefully, look, despite where we are, I always want Spurs to do well. And I hope that we beat Aston Villa and we progress in the FA Cup. Because I ultimately think the better we do, the easier it is to sell the project, quote unquote project, moving forward. And I need midfielders. I need a 6, bro. I don't want Darso or whoever we're linked with looking at this and thinking, rah, we looking hella dusty. I ain't coming to this club. So on that note, it's people, love, peace, and enjoy your weekend. And as always, come on, you